Tony, do you even remember how to drive one of these?
It's not something you forget. You should know that. The drive to succeed, the need to win, the desire to be a champion. And we surround ourselves with partners that believe the same. Like Tony Stewart Racing, Sage Fruit strives to be the best in all they do. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears all year long.
You can compare apples to apples, but nothing compares to a Sage Fruit apple. Winning quality in every bite.
And welcome to night number 2 at the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals presented by Casey's. Tonight is Toyota qualifying night number 2. Welcome to the Sage Fruit stage as we kick off our pre-race show here tonight. And two special guests with us tonight to kick the show off. Sheldon Haudenschild and Lauren Albano from NOS. First of all, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, likewise.
So you got the tough night out of the way, right? Qualifying night, that's always the toughest night.
Yeah, most stressful 2 laps of your life, of the year for sure. And yeah, last night, I don't know. I haven't qualified very good my whole career, and to be able to go out late and bust out 2 pretty solid laps felt really good. So, but even after that, the stress is still on, obviously, with the inverted heats and having to get that done. And obviously, I feel like our first start of the heat was really good, and we had a yellow there, moved us up a row, and helped us for sure. But yeah, tough to get through the heats.
6th in points, I think. Is that right? After last night?
Yeah, 6th in points. So we weren't as good as we wanted to be in the feature, being high point guy going in. But at least we had a little cushion there to not be as good. I think, you know, kind of my MO, start in the back, go to the front. And, you know, last night I was looking forward to starting right there in 8th and be able to get up in there. But just wasn't quite good enough. So we'll take it, though. Every year we've just been getting a little better here, and that's the goal.
So the tough part of obviously is the qualifying piece, but the fun part is the paint scheme of the car. So you brought out the blue car, the blue chrome, I guess is what you call it, right?
Yeah. Actually, it was all kind of last minute, really. I didn't even know. Ripper saved all the body and everything from last year, and obviously it's expensive and a lot of work. So to save a little money and be able to use it again, obviously the fans loved it, and we loved it too. So yeah, I love running that car. I think it looks beautiful on the track.
It looks great under the lights for sure. Gets the reflection on it and looks really good.
Sheldon, it's such a, sorry about the levels, it's such a fun brand that you're involved in. Lauren, some of the content you guys make, and I remember even back to the Sandholt stuff, you know, when you're rolling into Knoxville, the constant video product and the crossovers with the different disciplines of motorsport that you do. Dude, it's the coolest brand in the world, Sheldon. It really fits what you do, and that's why the relationship. But some of the stuff you've already done off the track, Sheldon, is so cool for NOS.
Yeah, it's awesome, honestly. I never thought I would be a part of something like this, and thankful for her and getting a lot of us to be able to do stuff like that. And, you know, our last video shoot, we ran a Formula 4 car on a road course, and, you know, without her and this brand, you know, that's something I probably never would have got to do. And just really fun things with really good group of people. And yeah, every video shoot is just something different.
What was something you didn't expect from the Formula 4 car?
I don't know. Obviously not a pavement guy, and it was pretty cool to go and see how good Ricky and the Anderson brothers and Forsberg were and how quick they picked it up. And I don't know what I didn't expect, but it was kind of cool to see. I was the slowest guy to start and then kind of was right on par at the end. And, you know, that made me feel pretty good. Just kind of see how fast you can pick something up that's a lot different.
Lauren, it's got to be, aside from the business part of what happens here this week, being a big race fan like you are, it's got to be pretty cool to see the NOS team drivers do so well here.
Yeah, it is. It's, you know, I think we've built a really great roster of NOS Energy Drink athletes, and on any given weekend, you're seeing someone park it in Victory Lane. And I've become quite the race fan. And, you know, I enjoy it. I enjoy watching racing on the weekends. Sheldon makes fun of me a lot because when there's a rain out and, you know, I can't watch racing on the weekends, I don't know what to do with myself. And he's like, go get a life. Like, go out with friends, go have a drink. But I like being home and watching racing with my family. And I watch it with my nephew who's 4 and cheers on Sheldon. And it's just, you know, it's something that, you know, I enjoy doing, but it is. We have a great roster of athletes on on the brand, and it's great for the brand. And they do, they're winning. And you look at the season that Sheldon's having, 7 or 8 wins now, and it is. It's great for the brand. I've become a personal fan, and we're along on the journey with them, and we see the fight they have, we see the wins and the losses, and we share that journey with them. And you personally want them to win. It's not just a win for the brand, but you personally want that for them as well.
I think that's been one of the coolest things. Wade talked about the videos and all those cool things, but when you look at this week itself, obviously everyone comes here and everybody has their own wants and expectations, but with NOS being a part of this event, that's brought on the Tuesday night party, which has been it's becoming a huge part of this week, and I think that's something that's been really special here is with NOS coming on board here and your influence and all the extra things that we didn't get to do before really makes this week special.
Yeah, what was it, about 2 years ago we added the Tuesday night kickoff concert, and that was something we wanted to do just as an energy drink and kind of bringing a new element to the Nationals, being an energy drink, kind of being a party brand. That was something, a new twist we wanted to bring, but I think for me it's not just that new big element that is special for me, it's all the little things that happen during Nationals week that makes this week so fun and so special. I remember pulling in Monday, and when the MPI tent was being set up, the gentleman that works that corner was on his golf cart and just waved, and he had the biggest smile on his face, and he was so excited because it was Nationals week. And then the family that parks their bus across from mine, being here now, my 7th year, we now know each other, and they ride down to the concert with us now. And it's those little moments that I think make this week so special, and those traditions. And yeah, the concert's awesome, and I'm happy that that's a new tradition and we put that on. But it's all those little moments of the gentleman working MPI and seeing his smile, when it's all set up and waving, and the family that's in the bus across from me, and that tradition of them riding down to the concert with us. It's all those little things that happen, each night and each day that have become like the big moments for us.
Sheldon, you talked about the beads when we were standing alongside the stage here, but you've been coming here a long time, and there's lots of those kind of little moments, I'm sure, for you that you think back and all kinds of little special memories along the way.
Yeah, I was actually just doing a Dirt Vision interview earlier today, and they kind of asked me what was my one core memory, and I really don't have a core memory. I think it's just every year there's always a new story or a new memory made, and ever since I was a kid, I could tell 1,000 different little stories and never really one big story from here. And like she said, I think that's what makes it special. You roll in, the guys you can't buy. I mean, we're back in our corner with my Uncle Ed, Kenny, my parents, all of us have been parking back there as long as I can remember. And, I just feel like that's my little home in the corner. And, we got the McCarls, the McMahons, Ricky Warner, right where everybody is. Yeah. And, if you want to stop and see somebody, you can. And to me, that's what's cool. Like she said, just a lot of little memories from every year. And, there's more to be made this week.
Lauren, I want to say thank you, because NOS has done an enormous amount to bring our form of racing into a much more mainstream, media focus, in a motorsport focus, to put Sheldon alongside some of these drifting guys, and which we already know sprint car racing was drifting well before they started drifting. But, apart from buying a can, I think we should put our hands together for Lauren and for NOS, because they have done such a huge job. And we've all been in this sport our whole lives. So when someone comes in and grabs it and puts it in a completely new, fresh way and lifts us up, we just go, thank you so much, because you add so much cred to what we're doing. So my first thing is just to say thank you to you.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Sheldon, for those that know you, you are meticulous with your cleanliness. The shop, the race shop is like a doctor's surgery. The motorhome is pretty well the same.
He's become the modern day Sammy, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Well,
his carpet lines.
I mean, for you to be so incredibly fastidious with the way you present, and that everything has its place in the shop, to the outside where you have your whole pressure cleaners and all that sort of stuff, and the motorhome. You motocross before this and now dirt. Your whole life is dirt. How does your brain disengage from how much dirt is really out there?
It's not healthy, honestly. Yeah, J-Lo knows for sure, but yeah, I don't know. It's almost just an addicting thing for me now, and I think it's getting worse, honestly. Like, I carry hand wipes with me. Like, I don't know. I'm getting weirder, I think.
We stopped in a Louis Vuitton store, not to go shopping, but he was so impressed with how the carpet looked, and he wanted to go in and talk to them and ask, who vacuumed, and literally talk to them just because he liked the lines on the carpet. Yeah, I don't know. I got problems, and honestly, you know, it's weird.
Your old man wasn't like this, right?
No, my dad's very dirty. And my mom's pretty clean, and I think that's where it comes from. But I don't know. I just once you get something nice, you want to keep it nice, and you know, I think especially once you start paying for your own things, you want to keep them right. And yeah, we got Levi Hillier with us this weekend, and honestly, I joke with him, like, we win when he comes because he just cleans my car all night. Like, literally, my car, if you notice this week, it'll look brand new every time we go off the track, and that's because of Levi. And honestly, I think we've won like 5 out of the 8 times that Levi comes, and it might sound silly, but like when I get my car and it's just perfectly clean and looks like brand new, it does something in my head, and it makes me feel good. So I struggle with being very dirty, and you know, sometimes you just got to deal with it. But
so we have about a minute left. We have about a minute left here. So you qualifying night's out of the way. What's the rest of the week look like for you?
I don't know, really. Doing this, we're going to do autographs at the T-shirt trailer after this. We'll go up in the suite later and just check out tonight and see how we play out. You know, in my eyes, I don't really see 10 cars beating us, so I think we're in a good spot. And, you know, I think you can win this race from anywhere. Obviously, Donnie's proven it, and David's gotten close last year. So, yeah, I'm just really looking forward to Saturday and staying rested until then. I think it's very easy to get, you know, sidetracked on a week like this as a driver and want to do things. And honestly, probably just laying low till Saturday and being rested.
Cool. Thanks for coming on. Good luck this week. And you got one Knoxville win under your belt. Let's get a big one on Saturday night.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. Sheldon Haudenschild and Lauren Albano, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. Carson Macedo comes up next on the Sage Fruit stage.
I have a 2014 Toyota Tundra Crew Max pickup with 152,000 miles. The truck started losing some power on inclines and running rougher than normal. Having Seafoam high mileage to fuel helped restore power back to what it was. The engine smoothed out as well. Happy customer with good results.
To find out more about Seafoam products and how they can help your engine run better and last longer, go to SeafoamWorks.com.
I think it's a very big deal that we have AMCUS, you know, providing us with the AMCUS cutting tools throughout our series and World Racing Group. It's good that we were able to get a product in that's reliable and it does the job. If for some reason we had to cut a car apart or get access to a driver or a patient, we know that this tool here is definitely the one that we're going to work the best, get us in there quickly.
Spend thousands of hours on the road.
Can he do it again?
Feel hundreds of horses under the hood. But every race, lap, and victory you get starts at zero. New NOS Zero Sugar. Zero sugar, 100% NOS, get after it.
If your answer to the summer heat is let it rain, we're looking for you. Join us at Toyota Racing.
Hey Tony, now that you're driving in straight lines, you should try one of these. It will help you turn left again.
Well, Donnie, you should try one of these. Just like the lights, when it turns green, mash the gas. You might win another championship. The drive to succeed, the need to win, the desire to be a champion. And we surround ourselves with partners that believe the same. Like Tony Stewart Racing, Sage Fruit strives to be the best in all they do. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears all year long.
You can compare apples to apples, but nothing compares to a Sage Fruit apple. Winning quality in every bite.
Welcome back to Toyota qualifying night number 2 at the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals presented by Casey's. Here on the Sage Fruit stage, the kickoff party with all of our friends here tonight. Glad to have you all here with us. And Carson Macedo joining Wade and I here on the stage now. Carson, thanks for joining us here.
Heck yeah, happy to be here. The Nationals is my favorite week of the year, and I'm just getting ready to kick it off excited.
So you're as big a fan as anybody. What's the first thing you do when you get to Knoxville?
Oh, the first thing
outside of the race car stuff.
Yeah, the first thing I do is make sure my camper's set up. I got here this year. My hot water wasn't working. The gray water was full and the AC wasn't working. So I had my work cut out for me right out of the box.
Yeah,
right? That's right.
So you've qualified for 4 A-mains here at the Nationals. We talked with Sheldon about the importance of drawing well and qualifying. How does that feel for you?
Well, I think I drew the 41, so I'm hoping that's going to bring me some luck.
Good karma there.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think it's just one of those deals that you know that there's going to be a little bit of luck that plays into it, whether it's the pill draw or if your heat kind of plays out the right way or whatever. But ultimately, you got to have a fast race car and you got to do a really good job. So execute when, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So I feel like for the most part, we've done our homework and we're just going to put our best foot forward. And I'm going to give it 110%, and wherever the cards land, that's where they're going to be.
Wade and I talked the other day about teams and drivers that had been together a long time, and you and Phillip, are really building a really strong team, and he's had a lot of luck here before. Does that give you some added confidence going into the Nationals?
Yeah, I remember when I came and drove the 41 in 2018, I thought to myself, Jason obviously had just had his accident, which was a horrible thing, but getting in the car, they had won the Nationals in 2016. They were really good in 2017. I thought, man, if I can just get in this thing and do like a half-decent job, it'll kind of carry me around there. So I feel like the 41 is always fast at Knoxville. Phillip obviously has his notes, pretty sought out and does a great job. So yeah, I just try to put my best foot forward and hope that it kind of makes up the difference.
Carson, your life has, in a couple of different ways, has come full circle. And I'll start with Australia. When I really had my first experience with you when you were racing for Peter and Lindy Mitchell over in Australia, the opportunity to come down there started off, and it just, unfortunately, they had some issues mechanically, and you kind of fell into this incredible vortex with the Dyson family, who have now become blood family to you in many ways. If you think about where you started here with the JJR thing and with Kyle and all that sort of stuff, and you've now come full circle with both those situations. You have incredible bonds that you've built with people that didn't necessarily start off that way, yet you've come back full circle.
Yeah, I think that's what sprint car racing is all about. It's a grassroots sport with a lot of family-oriented people, and I feel like JJR is that in itself. Like you said, when I came down under, I was just a 18-year-old kid at the time that knew nobody and landed there and drove for Pete and Lindy Mitchell, and then that kind of led to my relationship with Sean and Felicity Dyson, and then raced for a few teams in between there, and then got to racing for Kyle. Raced for JJR before Kyle, here in Knoxville after Jason had his accident in 2018, and just a lot of really good people. And when I was young, 18 or whatever, and started moving around racing all the time, I didn't realize how many people I would meet that would change my life forever. And obviously JJR is top notch. It's always been like that family-oriented team. I don't know if you've ever heard me read off the sponsors on that thing after every night, but it seems like there's a list of about 100 people, but every single one of them make a really big difference for us, and that's what Jason built the team on, is that idea and that kind of ideology, and so we just try to keep that same attitude going with JJR for many years to come, hopefully.
One of our great mutual friends is Peter Murphy, who was like a bit of a mentor for you when you were down in Australia as well. And of course, at the time, he still has a remarkable friendship with the Tarleton family, and that's where we got to hang out at the Bat Cave, that incredible Tarleton race shop. The Tarleton family, you're obviously related to them in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways, you're kind of like Methanol brothers as well. Tell me about that relationship.
Yeah, so my grandfather's Robbie Tarleton. He was a driver himself, and he's the one that really got me into racing in the first place. That's my mom's dad. And then, so Robbie Tarleton's dad, my grandfather, is brothers with Tom Tarleton. And then Tom is the one that now everyone sees Tommy Tarleton, all the black stuff and all that. But Tom is the one that originally started Tarleton and Son that's funded all that black race team stuff. So they were kind of the ones that really, you know, we talk about it all the time, but you hear about sprint car drivers and how they got involved in the sport, and somewhere there's a connection where they got an opportunity. Obviously, sprint car racing costs a lot of money, and so you got to have somebody that has the backing in order to actually afford to put you in a car, and not only put you in a car, but be able to let you learn and crash and do all the things that cost a lot of money. So the Tarleton family was that for me, and Tom and Tommy Tarleton put me in a sprint car when I was 16 years old, and really gave me the opportunity. I basically raced for them for 4 years, and then they've kind of sponsored each and every ride that I've been in since then. So I raced for them for 4 years. I remember 2015, I won an Outlaw show, and I begged them to run the King of the West Tour in California. They put me on that. We won the championship, and then I begged them to take their car back east, and they said, that's never going to happen. So because of that, they kind of gifted me the opportunity to go race a midget, which I had never drove a midget before, but basically gifted me that opportunity to go race for Keith Kunz for a year. And then that's basically where I built all the sprint car opportunities after that in 2016. I ran 25 different cars that year, a lot of different sprint cars, midgets, non-wing sprint cars, basically anything that I could fit my seat into and that somebody let me drive, and they helped me. I mean, they're really the reason why I'm a sprint car driver today.
What's been your most favorite? I know obviously you'd say the wing sprint car, right? Because you had a lot of success there, but 25 cars, that's a lot of different cars.
Yeah, it is. I mean, different race cars as in different car owners and stuff like that. But yeah, my favorite car to drive outside of a wing sprint car is a midget. I really enjoy racing them. I try to race them at the end of the year every year. Sean and Felicity Dyson over from Australia, they bring a car over for me to run, so I enjoy the midgets.
What's it like racing with your brother?
It's up and down. He obviously, I love seeing how my brother's career has progressed. Hearing today the announcement that he's going to be on the World of Outlaw Tour next year with two-seat team of Wayne Johnson is really cool. You know, for my parents, having both kids on the World of Outlaw Tour is like kind of hitting the lottery. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously it's awesome to race with my brother. There's times when we're racing super hard together, and the worst thing that could happen is us to wreck into each other, and then we would really look like morons. So I try to never let that happen. But yeah, he's a good racer, and it's good to see him progress.
Do you worry about him when he's out there?
I do, yeah. Last night I watched the whole race from up on the Sweet Tower, and I debated on going in the pit area and trying to help him or, you know, give him some advice or whatever, but I seen he did so good at the 360 Nationals without me there, so I thought maybe me just kind of hanging out would be better. But they struggled a little bit last night, but hopefully they can pick it up on Friday and get back in the show.
Yeah. You and I had a couple of, I was your first on a couple of occasions. It sounds weird, I know, but I introduced you to a couple of key Australian foods. Parramatta Road. You got to race at Parramatta Raceway too, at Valvoline Raceway, which now you look back on it, Carson, it's long gone. It's basically now a train station, which is devastating. You had a kebab. You guys call them kebabs, but they're kebabs. And you had a meat pie. We have the Pie Mate folks here today. Explain to me how different our food. I think you said it was like a burrito, the pie, was what you referenced at the time.
I thought the kebab was more like a burrito. When you said kebab, I thought it was going to be like a chicken on a skewer. And so it was a little bit confusing, but it was really good. The meat pies are different. I'm not a big gravy guy, so I struggle a little bit with like the gravy inside of the pastry, and then the meat, it's like it doesn't really go up my alley. But Sean Dyson, the guy I drove for over there, he makes fun of me all the time because his favorite food to eat is a meat pie, and I'm always the picky one that only likes certain ones. So.
You've had some inspirational people in your life that have been mentors in ways maybe even without meaning to be. Bobby Johnson. The whole world fell in love with Bobby's situation, her incredible heartache, and her ability to rise above insurmountable grief. And the world watched it. What an incredible person she is.
Yeah, I think it's easy to fall in love with Bobby because she's very real. You know, what you see is what you get with Bobby, and I think that the same was with Jason. And after, you know, Bobby, a lot of people know about the incident that she had, obviously, with Jason Johnson, but prior to that, Bobby was actually dating Kevin Gobrook, and he passed away in a race car too. So she's been through quite a bit of heartache, and you know, just the Johnson family in general, you know, has had a bit of a tough road. And you know, Craig and Deborah Johnson are Jason's mother and father, and they've actually had their daughter and son now pass away. So they're very strong people. Not a lot of people could get through that situation and still see the light at the end of the tunnel, but you know, they're always at the races cheering us on. And I think seeing JJR's name live on through the race team has been a huge deal for them. So Bobby, obviously with Jax running around now, that's pretty cool to see. I think that puts a lot of happy faces on people seeing him kind of grow up. And you know, Craig, Deborah, Bobby, obviously Phillip and Brooke owning the team now and kind of carrying on that legacy and Jason's name and everything that Bobby and Jason built. So yeah, I mean, I think just you can't help but look at her and just feel that for them. And you know, it's a tough situation, but you know what? They're very strong people, and they've worked really hard to make the most out of it and get through and see that light at the end of the other side.
I'm not going to tell you that California hasn't always been a strong state, but it feels like in the last 10 years, California is the superpower of sprint car racing. And I know as a Californian, you're going to say, heck yes, it is. But have you ever seen it this tough? And Tony, I don't know, have you ever seen it this tough?
In fact, last night we talked about that. You know, yourself and Rico and Buddy and Corey Day. And, you know, my question to them last night was, how'd y'all get so fast on tracks like this when you don't have those tracks out there? You know, you're not racing at Calistoga every week anymore. So how do you get so fast on these tracks?
I think that you just don't have a choice. You know, a lot of people from California, they either stay in California and they get a job and work 9 to 5, or they leave. You know, it's not Pennsylvania, it's not Ohio, it's not the Midwest. So we don't have enough races that pay enough money. So the good drivers that actually want to make a living out of it, they leave and they come race back here. So you just don't have a choice. You know, there's a few tracks when you race on the World of Outlaw Tour that you have to be good at. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, because you go there like 30 times in total, I think, and that's Williams Grove, Knoxville, and Eldora, and they're all big tracks. So you know, when I moved out here, I looked at the Outlaw schedule, and it's like, oh, clear is clear. These are the places you need to be good at, and you just put your best foot forward, and you study, and you work with your team, and you make sure your car's right, and it feels good. You know, watching Gio win last night was awesome. Oski was a podium sweep of California, and so was the Capitani. So it feels good to be from the state of California. And you know, there's a lot of things about California that we maybe don't like, but good racing's one of them that we do.
Good race car driver. We'll be proud of that, right? But hey, we're going to let you get out of here. We wish you lots of luck this weekend, and get through your qualifying night strong and have a good Saturday night.
I appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you.
Carson Macedo, everyone. We're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, Aaron Reutzel joins us on the Sage Fruit stage.
Tony, do you even remember how to drive one of these?
It's not something you forget. You should know that. The drive to succeed, the need to win, the desire to be a champion. And we surround ourselves with partners that believe the same. Like Tony Stewart Racing, Sage Fruit strives to be the best in all they do. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears all year long.
You can compare apples to apples, but nothing compares to a Sage Fruit apple. Winning quality in every bite.
Welcome to our world. A world of dirt, drift, and dodging fate. A world where all of motorsport collides. A world of digging deep, of grit, glory, and bitter defeat. Inhabited by the strong, the fearless, the barely sane. Welcome to our world. Welcome to the world of NOS.
It's ARP Fasteners for whatever you race. From 2 wheels to 4. Off-road, on-road, even water. From the flat track to the salt flats. Grassroots racers, weekend warriors, and pros alike trust ARP. Made in America quality, family owned and operated. When failure is not an option, it's ARP-bolts.com. No matter what you race.
You wanted the best, you got 'em for a rest. Often imitated, never
When you're an outlaw, racing is a way of life. We embrace life on the road, the good and the bad, and all the nights in between. But the best part of being an outlaw for 28 years has been sharing this life with my family and our fans. It's because of you that I'm proud to be forever an outlaw.
The 10-time champion from Fargo, North Dakota.
Pick up our latest gear at the track near you or from my online store at store.DonnieShots.com.
Ready to rise? To the challenge? Above obstacles.
Yes!
Above perceptions.
Ruttiger, implement the pass on the top lane.
Above it all.
Let's go!
If so, we're looking for you. Join us at Toyota Racing.
Welcome back to Toyota qualifying night number 2 here at the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals presented by Casey's. We're on the Sage Fruit stage, and joining Wade and I now, the driver from Clute, Texas, Aaron Reutzel. Aaron, glad to have you with us here tonight.
Hey man, glad to be here.
I guess, can we say you're from Iowa now, or no? Do we still have to say you're from Texas?
I mean, you still say Carrie's from Australia, so you be the judge.
Yeah, well,
if you're Van May, you identify as a Texan.
That's
Remember
right.
the way Van said that?
Calvin Landis told me one time, he was always from Arizona, right? It's where he's from. And then we started saying he was from Knoxville, and then we started saying he was from Arizona. And then he said, no, I live in Knoxville now. You have to call me from Knoxville. But not everybody's that way, because I kind of subscribe to where you're from is where you're from, always,
Correct.
right? So,
Correct.
All right, now we got the important stuff out of the way.
So where's he from again?
Clute, Texas.
You are from Clute.
Yeah.
Clute, Texas.
So you live in Knoxville.
Correct.
Are you going to give his address?
Best of both. Well, can I have it?
No. He's under protection from you.
Yeah, that'd be right.
So the tough nights out of the way for the week, right? You got your qualifying night out of the way?
Yeah, it was, but it didn't go as planned. Qualifying, you got to qualify good.
Yeah.
You have to qualify good. I felt like after qualifying, I still put the best night I could together. Won the heat from third and went 13th to 8th in the A, which I felt like that was one of the bigger movers besides like gravel or something. And, it's still not even close. So I still feel like we will be racing again tomorrow.
I would say I don't keep track of this stat. I wish I did. But, watching you race here on a weekly basis, passing cars from deep in the field is no problem for you. What is it? What makes that so easy for you? Because not everybody is as good at it as you are.
It's not easy. I can promise you that. It doesn't feel easy. I definitely feel like I'm in just wide out mode to pass cars. It's been tougher this year than it seems like it ever has been. But when you can move around, it's an incredible feeling. But I don't know. Something about big tracks and momentum racing has always just kind of been my style, and I've from day one I've just adapted to Knoxville and got around here good. How or why, I don't know, and I'll just stick with that. I'm just fortunate enough to be able to get around here decent.
There's been a lot of talk this week and preparing for this week about drivers and teams that have been together for a while and the gel that they form, right? You and the Ridge team have really found something. You've been lights out fast in your 360 and nearly lights out fast in your 410 most nights. What has it been about that combination that's just worked so well for you?
No pressure. I mean, look, I'm sitting on stage drinking Modelo right now. They just try your best and, give them the respect they deserve. And there's no pressure at all. It's free reins. I couldn't just tell you how lucky I am and how blessed I am to be racing for Ridges, and it's the longest relationship I've been at a team, and can continue to see it go on farther than where it is now. But I would say just no expectations. The expectations to have fun. So as long as we're trying and we're giving it our all, they're happy, and it's more of a family. It's more of a family sport deal for them too, and that makes it so much better for me, to where I feel like I've already been in the all-out peer pressure deal, and I'm glad to be where I am now.
You're at that point in your career where it's let's have fun first and win races. Yeah.
Oh man, I can't wait to hear what you're about to say. I can see
What?
No.
I was just going to say, you are one of the few Americans to have won the biggest race in Australian sprint car racing. You won the Classic. We're a really great team. The Sala family, who came out of bitumen go-karting, and Mick does a great job, and his dad, Mark, and the girls. Tell me what that was like. Did you get a sense of how important that is to us as Australians? Does that register?
So after the first year going, and we made the A and ran good, and I think we just made the A, and then we ran up to like 7th or 8th, and the emotions they had for 7th or 8th. But seeing the fan, it's like here. The only difference is, they have the racetrack wrapped with fans all the way around, and it's just the same. It's the same feelings as this race over there, and you could tell it is the biggest race that Australia has to offer. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know a whole lot about it when I first went over there, but then after running it for the first time, it's like, okay, this race feels like Knoxville to me. Like, I want to win it. And then we were so good the year before, we just, I made some mistakes on my prelim night and then had to run the B, and then, came through. I was like, I feel like we got a shot to win it, and to come through and win it and see their emotions, and like, believe me, I was ecstatic to win what I know is the biggest race to win in Australia. It's like, mic drop, may never come back. But no, it was unbelievable to know that I put my name on that list of people that won it, and I know truly what that race means to win, and I cannot be more proud to win it for me and the sellers.
How many Americans have won that race?
Oh God, put me on the spot. I mean, the guy that's won the most is Danny Smith. Like, Danny Smith came down for years and years and years, and as we know, Sheldon very nearly won it when Brock Hallett got back by him. So guys like Donnie, we've had Jason Myers, Joey Saldana, we've had up to 20 Americans racing in that race at one point. So,
but the list of American winners, it's not a big list.
No, and we'll keep it that way.
One's won.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that.
It's been a while.
We're going to come to Texas and take some of yours.
I had to go through the whole deal, and they showed the whole list of people, and it's been quite a while since American won it, so glad to bring that home.
When the fans are cheering or booing, there's a common denominator. You're usually down in Casey's victory lane. You seem to embrace the adverse fans as well as the noisy fans, and that's something you're learning. You go, that's the sound of money, I hear booing.
I love it. I love the boos. I think to me, it's more fun. The boos and the fans in person. It's never brutal. I don't have social media because that gets brutal.
Right.
But the in-person stuff is never brutal. I like the boos. I think it's fun.
It's got to motivate you a little, right?
Yeah. That's why, like, when I win, I'm like, all right, hell yeah, let's go. Let's see what you got.
I think Terry McCarl made a Boo Birds t-shirt at one point in his career at Houston's because everybody booed him so much, and they called him the Boo Birds. Well, he made a t-shirt and sold all kinds of them. Yeah. So it's not always bad, right?
No, like I said, I enjoy it.
Well, there's a guy rolling through the pitch just here who's never been booed in his life, and Brad Doty, he just rolled up at the moment. But he's like shaking his head at me. Was it Paul Sides that came up with the AA Ron thing for you all those years ago as well?
Because it truly was.
Because when Worldwide gives you a nickname, Aaron, you know you've made it, right?
Oh yeah, you made something.
So your best finish here at the Nationals. Let's get back to business. The best finish here is 4th, I think. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you got your work cut out for you this weekend. Is that still something obtainable for you, do you think?
I mean, it's doable. I've gone 19th to 7th, so I still think we're gonna have to race Friday. I've already said I think if we're not in the first 3 rows, I might even drop out just to race Friday. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know if starting 8th is doable when you got them good of guys in front of you to get through. So I'd rather just come back in, try to lay down a good lap, and start 4th in my heat, and you got to pass one guy, and then you start in front of the A. So I don't know. I'm a shitty gambler, so I'd probably just go with those odds and try to go with that. So, I mean, my casino career is not very well, so I'm sure my choices there probably aren't very well either, but hell, you only live once.
You reckon I've got nothing? Sometimes when he says things to me, I got nothing. What drives you When you get up and is it all about the win? Can you be happy when you don't win? Or is it always got to be that you get the top step?
If I don't win, what did it pay and what place did I run?
So it's financially motivated?
Yeah. Honestly, it's a lot of it. Like, so I mean, I'm not holding anything back, but when I have my little bit of dabbling in USAC racing, I go out there, I run as hard as I can, I run 5th, and I'm like, man, that was a wild race. It was fun. You go to the pay window, and they give you $1,000. Wow, this sucked.
And you get 40% of that, right?
Yeah, correct. So, I mean, when you win a race like the Classic or the Tuscarora 50 that has a lot of prestige on it, and you get paid, oh man, we're having a good time now.
Yeah, right. Well, folks, I had Aaron on for a couple reasons. One, because he's just lights out fast here this season. But if you're making a short list of the Knoxville regulars that can likely compete for a win this weekend, he probably ought to be on your list, because if you watched him race here at all this season, you'll know that he has a really, really fast race car, and he knows how to get around here. So we wish you tons of luck this week, Aaron, and we believe in you as a local guy. We think you can get it done.
Hey, I appreciate it, and thanks for having me on.
Aaron Reutzel, ladies and gentlemen.
If you could
can you boo him? He likes to boo.
He likes that. And throw money at the same time. He'll love that. Good to see you, mate.
Everybody's hooking up, getting down, tearing up their little town, loading up the cooler and heading south beach bound, working on their tan, koozie on a beer can, party every night, going up their hands. Ain't no crying in your beer, ain't no she walked out the door, ain't nobody broken hearted in country music anymore.
I'm Carson Macedo. Get closer to the action with special offers and a chance to join me in Victory Lane. Sign up now to be an outlaw.
How'd I do?
Great if you're not looking at the clock.
Sure you got that? I had to be faster than that, right? 100% NOS, zero sugar coating. No. New NOS, zero sugar. Get after it.
Hey, Tony. Now that you're driving in straight lines, you should try one of these. It will help you turn left again.
Well, Donnie, you should try one of these. Just like the lights. When it turns green, mash the gas. You might win another championship. The drive to succeed, the need to win, the desire to be a champion. And we surround ourselves with partners that believe the same. Like Tony Stewart Racing, Sage Fruit strives to be the best in all they do. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears all year long.
You can compare apples to apples, but nothing compares to a Sage Fruit apple. Winning quality in every bite.
This copyrighted Dirt Vision broadcast may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or distributed in any form without World Racing Group's written consent. Copyright infringement is a federal crime.
And welcome back to Toyota qualifying night number 2 here at the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals presented by Casey's. Dusty Zomer joins us now on the Sage Fruit stage. Welcome back to the stage. Welcome back to Knoxville. I got all kinds of things to say to you, but it's good to see you again.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. This is awesome.
So you raced here for a while, then you went away, and then you came back, and you went right back to victory lane. How does that happen?
Well, pretty lucky, I guess. I just took a little bit of break from coming down here, and between the business, running a family trucking business that we run back home in Sioux Falls, just got really busy with that. You know, that 2017, 18, 19 time frame or whatever, I got really busy with it and focused on that. And after being gone for a few years, obviously, I had a friend of mine come up to me and ask me if, you know, I want to get back in it. And I said, you know, at a high level, I do. But we don't have nothing, so what's the next step? And we went out and tried to get what we could to develop a team and put it together, and we came back out. And you always come back, obviously, thinking that you can still do this, you know, I mean, obviously, but you come out and you realize that these guys are professionals. They've been doing it nonstop.
Yeah.
And you know you got to pick up your pace, obviously, with being gone. And it was always a hope that you come out here and you could be able to put another W on the board or whatever. And this year, at the beginning of the year, we were able to do that. And on top of it, just because it was a good thing for myself and his confidence booster, obviously, we had Brian Brown behind us.
Yeah.
And at a local show, he's lights out. And we were able to hold him off, and I think at the end almost pull away from him. So we had a really good car and a combination. And I guess it was just a sigh of a deep breath, so to say, yes, I can still do this.
How different was the pace from when you left to when you came back?
You know, it always was, you know, you always went 100% all the time because, you know, someone was coming,
yeah.
You know, and so you always did that. But there were some things that changed as far as the feel of the race car. I thought, you know, the biggest thing for me to adjust to was the shocks. You know, I guess when I got out of it, some of the shock technology that they have now was just getting started. And so to get somebody used to that, that was kind of probably the biggest change of the feel of what it was doing because the shocks were totally different. But I mean, as far as, you know, you always went out there and did 100% all the time. So that part didn't change, but you definitely you had to dig deep to make sure that you could still compete with some of these young guys coming in.
After you won, and then, you know, it kind of takes maybe sometimes a day to soak in, you know, Monday when you went back to work and you were sitting there thinking about it, what was that like for you to, man, I went back to victory lane. I could win. I can still win in these things.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, and like I said, the local level here, the talent is really good. And
yeah.
So to come down here, I always felt if you want to come down here to prepare for this show, or you want to, you know, get to that point where you're used to racing the best, you know, they come down here and get up to speed. I mean, it's a fast place. And so I just wanted to come down here. It's a commitment because you drive down here every weekend.
Yeah, right.
There's some times where you're like, man, I really want to go to the lake this weekend because it's really hot. But, you know, you stick it out and you enjoy it. And you never know, you know, when you may be for sure done with it. So just try to enjoy every year as much as you can.
Well, and the other thing different for you is you got a little guy now.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's got to be pretty cool, right? To bring that trophy home?
Yeah, absolutely. That's been kind of the neat adventure. You know, when he was born, I wasn't racing. So to kind of get back into it and see him kind of take the attraction to racing like I did,
yeah,
it was really cool. And obviously to bring a trophy home or whatever, you know, we need to, and to get him around all this stuff and make friends, it's been really fun. And you know, he's 5 years old now. He starts kindergarten, and I'm sure there's going to be the days coming when his sports are going to start. So obviously,
well, they make those quarter midgets or cage carts or whatever they call on the race out here.
I know. I've had a few people tell me that, and I'm like, give him a few more years.
He's loving his ice cream right now. He doesn't need to think about racing. You know, I hear Tony say a lot, you know, we have comms in my ears in the middle, so I hear everything that Tony says. I hear him say 5 words, a lot more than I thought I would, from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I hear
Which
that
isn't actually where he's from, right?
Well, no, actually, that is where I'm living.
That's where you're living. Okay.
Yep.
It seems to me there's a prevalence of teams, you know, and there always has been, but there was kind of one dude in an 8D and other car numbers that was that guy. But I do hear you say that a lot more with teams in this region. Why is that? Is it the Houston stuff? Is there a culture that's continuing to grow in South Dakota?
Yeah,
Sorry, South Dakota?
I think so. I mean, obviously, you always had Houstons. I mean, I grew up in Brandon, which, I mean, Brandon, Sioux Falls, I mean, it's almost connected nowadays, you know, but... And so going to Houston's was something you just did, you know, my mom and dad took me there, and we had a lot of fun, and just kind of racing became a bug, so to say. I got into it and started racing myself, and I think a lot of people in that area enjoy racing, you know, and I don't know, I guess it's the group of people, and a lot of them like to come down here and race. Obviously, you've seen a lot of people from the Sioux Falls area come down here and race and have success. And so it's good to be a part of a group like that loves to travel around to the Midwest area and race.
I think there's a big fan contingent from Sioux Falls that comes here as well.
Yeah. Yep.
There's lots of South Dakota people here.
Yeah, there you go. I'm sure. Woo! it was actually in the dictionary in America. I'm pretty sure it's a verb, it's a noun, it's all those sort of things. You had a very cool-looking top wing recently. Did you get a bit of attention for that? That was, I don't know if you caught it or not in that 4-car, but that was intriguing.
Yeah, we definitely. The printing designs they can do on graphics nowadays is amazing, you know. But we went a little out there or whatever, and sometimes they say there's some things you just don't talk about, like religion, politics, and stuff like that. But every now and then it's fun to have a little fun and throw it out there. And
you must have got a lot of feedback, did you?
Yeah, actually a lot of positive feedback. Obviously, everything is always ever changing, and it's always tough to keep up with everything. But it was fun to do something like that and get positive feedback for it, and definitely I would do it again.
Is it still on the car?
So that was actually on a different car.
Different car, okay.
Yes, it was on a different car or whatever. But so we didn't transfer it over to this car. But we had fun.
Thank God you didn't roll over. Can you even imagine the uproar about that?
The thought did cross my mind. I was like, man, there's probably a couple of quiet people out there that would say something.
Well, at least nobody came down and climbed up your tree about it, right? So your best finish here at the Nationals was 9th in, what did my notes say, 2008.
Yes.
You remember that night very well?
I do. One thing that stands out from that time frame was that year I was really happy with our results, because that was back when they actually inverted 10. So in the heat races, you had to start 10th. And in order to make it through the heat race, you obviously got to get up to 4th.
Yeah.
And I was able to do that in the heat race. So that particular year, we were really good, and it had a good balance in the car. And it just running that strong, I've made a handful of A mains here. And we've always kind of fell in between that 10th and 20th. We've always trying to get on that top 10 is so tough. And so that night we were able to get in the top 10. It was kind of a sigh of relief there too. Like, okay, we're making the strides in the right direction, you know? But yeah, that was a great year. Definitely look back to it. I mean, I think sometimes it felt like just a couple years ago. But yeah, you look back at it, it's like, man, I am getting older.
What's your mindset going into tonight?
I love the Nationals. I love the format. It's basically you're not racing really against the competitors. You're racing against a point system. So it is the same for me, and I treat it like every other race. You can come in here on the Capitani and race on Sunday, and guys can do well, and you can not do well. And it really doesn't matter on this race, because guys that did well on that show didn't do great last night. So it goes to show that every night it's a new night for this deal, and the competition is huge. So you just got to go out there every time you hit the track and set your goals and meet them.
Yep. Zoom. Last year we saw Davey Heskin and Scott Boguski make the race in the first time in their career, and the tears, like the raw emotion of making the big show. Why is it so incredibly special? Apart from the fact it pays 10 large or something like that just to make the show, which is bigger than most drivers will ever make in an A main. Why is it so special?
Well, I think it's not just them. It's the people that have stood behind them, the people that have helped them when they needed help, or helped them throughout their entire careers. And they probably felt that you're not accomplished unless you can able to make that big show. And so even the first time I was able to make it too, you're super proud of what you're able to do. And I think a lot the emotions come through just because you're just happy for everybody that's been involved in your entire career. And I think it bleeds through. It's going to. And a deal like this, that the biggest thing I noticed too coming back was the time consumption that you have behind the scenes, working on them, fixing them, preparing them, getting everything organized so everything's the same. I mean, it takes a huge commitment from a lot of people and sponsors, family, friends, to do this deal. So I think that's why the emotions really pour through.
You ever been to Australia to race?
I have not. That is one thing I have not done.
I love the way Aussies will notice this. When you say to American, can you do that? I cannot. Have you ever done this? I have not. Will you do it? I will not. You're very distinct with that. So I'm going to say, if you were asked to come to Australia, you would say, I would so?
Yeah, it's one of those deals where you'd definitely be tough to pass up a good deal, obviously, in a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity or whatever. But it does make it tougher for myself just with running a business, and being the operational, head manager of the whole deal, making the operations continue. It is tough to just walk away from that and go visit somewhere for even 3 weeks, or whatever. But
so you're sending Dad instead.
Yeah, right.
That's what you're saying. I'm not sure my country is ready for your father.
That'd be a good test.
Well, man, we wish you tons of luck. As a Knoxville local, definitely one of those guys that if you have a really good night tonight, which we expect you can certainly put yourself in position for a good Saturday night.
Yeah, I know we've struggled a little bit running here lately or whatever, but definitely I always kind of like to be a little bit of a dark horse, so it's kind of fun to go in the deal and knowing that you are still capable of putting your name on the top of the board.
Yeah.
So we'll see what we can get done.
Sign a Frisbee, make somebody happy. Dusty Zomer, ladies and gentlemen, give him a round of applause. You're going to see him race out there. Want to thank a few folks. Tomorrow night on the show, we have Rico Abreu, Tyler Courtney, Brent Marks, and Carson McCarl will be joining us. Brian Liskey will join me on the stage tomorrow night. Want to say a special thanks to Chuck Sink from Sage Fruit. He was here earlier. I'm not sure if he's still here or not, but special thanks to Chuck for supporting what we do here on the stage. Don't forget, after the races tonight, you're all invited to go to the post-race press conference down in the show barn. That's a great time, so make sure you attend that. The Legends Breakfast coming up tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock right across the street at Celebrate Church.
20 tickets left, I think.
Only 20 tickets. And then on Friday at high noon at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame, the Steve Kinzer book unveiling will happen. Dave Argabright and Steve Kinzer will be there for the unveiling of their cover of Steve's book, so you won't want to miss that. And then, of course, on Saturday, the driver autograph session, the drivers meeting that happens. The Knoxville Marching Band will lead them down the concourse again like last year.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure and invite you all to that. And as you mentioned, folks, say hello to our good friend Brad Doty, Kenny Jacobs, and Dean Jacobs over here in the crowd. Say hello to them. Yes, we got some important folks here.
OH. No one said IO. Thank
He
you,
did.
Kenny.
Kenny did.
Jeez, that guy from Apple Creek, he washes a car too. Did you know that?
Do you know he still uses a satellite dish for his internet? He got to get out there and crank that baby up.
He actually works with builds things for Amish people and stuff as well. I went out to Apple Creek a couple times and he rubbed his eye at me with one finger for some reason. Then
you were number one in his book.
I know.
All right, folks, make sure you tune in tomorrow night. We look forward to it. Thanks for joining us here on the Sage Fruit stage. Toyota qualifying night coming up. We'll see you back here on Dirt Vision in just a little bit.
Tony, do you even remember how to drive one of these?
It's not something you forget. You should know that. The drive to succeed, the need to win, the desire to be a champion. And we surround ourselves with partners that believe the same. Like Tony Stewart Racing, Sage Fruit strives to be the best in all they do. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears all year long.
You can compare apples to apples, but nothing compares to a Sage Fruit apple. Winning quality in every bite.
How'd I do?
Great if you're not looking at the clock.
Sure you got that? I had to be faster than that, right? 100% NOS, zero sugar coating. New NOS, zero sugar. Get after it.
Dirt Vision presents World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. The best drivers, the biggest races.
David Gravel wins $250,000 at Houston Speedway. He is now a 6-time Kings Royal winner.
The best coverage.
My name is Connor Wade. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Often imitated, never duplicated.
Dirt Vision is home to the greatest shows on dirt.
It's another Chamber of Commerce Day in a town whose Chamber of Commerce celebrates its racing. And while Iowa's Knoxville Raceway's big and fast half mile remains exactly the same as it did yesterday, today it's a whole new cast of characters that will test theirs as Dirt Vision welcomes you to night number 2 of the granddaddy of them all, the 63rd annual NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals. More than 1,000 miles east and south of Knoxville. Welcome to the eye of Hurricane Debbie's remnant, Charlotte, North Carolina, and the Dirt Vision studio presented by Milton Hershey. She's Hannah, I'm Dave, and thank goodness the Knoxville Nationals are here and we don't have to be outside. If this were World Finals weekend, forget about it.
Well, I think some of the drivers here in Charlotte think it is World Finals weekend. 10 below the speed limit, hazards on. I think the safest place to be right now in Charlotte is here in the Dirt Vision studios.
Can't tell you how many flood warnings we've received from the National Weather Service, and thank God they're doing their job. And amazingly, rain's not an issue in Knoxville, neither is the temperatures, as a break in the summer heat is more than welcome for the most intense race of the year. But an event that eats like no other as well, last night's on-track action featured a Californian by birth, now calling Iowa home, that used a little hot sauce to eat up the competition in the Knoxville Nationals opening night.
The green flag is waving on feature action, night 1 of the Nationals.
Jacob Allen brings the field down into turn number 1. Justin Peck up on the top of the racetrack. Chase Randall taking a look there in the 3rd spot. They're side by side for 4th down the back straightaway. Gio Scelzi right there in the mix as well. Your top 5. Now Boguski moves up to 4th. Here comes Gio Scelzi around the top side of the racetrack in turn 4 looking for 4th.
So we'll take a look at the Dirt Vision replay at the start of the race. Donnie Schatz battling with David Gravel. Oh, they nearly got together and somehow Schatz saved the car that was facing directly into the infield. Corey Day on the low side. Now Scelzi around the outside of Boguski. Move Gio up into that 5th position. Giovanni Scelzi look to the top. Brent Marks moves up high, and now Scelzi to the bottom entering turn 3. Can he slide up the banking? Yes, he can. Giovanni Scelzi by Brent Marks to take the 4th spot.
Chase Randall makes a move on Justin Peck in turn number 2. Down the back street now, battle for 2nd. Side by side. They get together there going into turn number 3. Peck comes out on top. Now the inside line open for Brent Marks. Back up front, Gio Scelzi was knocking on the door of Chase Randall. He'll look to the inside at turn 3. Randall way up on the high side of the racetrack. Opens the inside line for Gio Scelzi. Scelzi moves by it to flag stand and he'll take the 3rd spot.
Giovanni Scelzi now into the 3rd position, relegating Chase Randall to the 4th spot.
Wheel-to-wheel battle in turn number 2. Justin Peck able to put 2 car lengths on Gio Scelzi down the back straightaway. Scelzi drives back to the bottom in turn number 4. He'll slide up across the racetrack, tries to take the spot away. He'll hold the car to the bottom, but he'll get the spot. Down into turn number 1, Jacob Allen continuing to lead, but Gio Scelzi works the high side of the racetrack, makes a run on your leader down the back straightaway. They're nose to tail. They're going to be for the lead in turn number 3.
Jacob Allen moves up to the high side of the speedway, car smoking. It's the 09 of Matt Joel right in front of the leaders as they come to the line side by side. Scelzi leads lap 22.
Gio Scelzi stakes the lead away from Jacob Allen in turn number 1, now begins to pull away from him down the back straightaway.
Giovanni Scelzi down the back straightaway and into corner number 3. Rides the cushion out of turn number 4 and down to a preliminary win at the Knoxville Nationals. Giovanni Scelzi wins on Brand Professional Agriculture qualifying night.
What an incredible job to my guys. Like, normally yellows are my kryptonite, and just got by Brent Marks, and the yellow came out, of course, but man, the bottom got almost easier and easier to run as all that crumbs got thrown up in the middle. But man, thank you fans for coming out. This is the busiest I've ever seen a Wednesday night, and it took so much time to get this thing together. And thank you, Adam McRoberts, and thanks, buddy. Adam McRoberts, Capital Signs did a great job. Matt was kind of the brains behind this. Brett Naring's a huge part of this race team. I hope he's here tonight, but man, it's incredible. I don't even know what to say. I've never won a prelim night in 410s. I've run 2nd. This definitely sets us out good for Saturday.
11th in qualifying, 4th in his heat, and his first 410 win at Knoxville since 2019. Scelzi strikes first also in event points at 471. Where it ends up against today's numbers remains to be seen. Anthony Macri makes the most of transferring from the LCS, earning 465. Scott Boguski is turning heads as Corey Day, Brent Marks round out the top 5. Solid nights for the remainder of the top 10, including last night's quick qualifier Matt Jewell, who's the final name on page number 1. Almost everyone 11th to 20th is either okay or perhaps nervous and playing a waiting game to see if they crack the top 26 overall. That's the position that ensures a Saturday reservation and a Friday night off. Of course, the other side of that coin is prepping for racing tomorrow night. Now, easily the biggest surprise, a heat race win is the only bright spot for Donnie Schatz down in 25th, who bookends his night with a 37th place qualifying effort and an 18th place feature finish. Needless to say, it is a virtual lock. The 10-time Nationals winner, best route to a possible 12th, will be via Hard Knocks tomorrow night. Hannah, that is easily the biggest story, but there are some great names on the front of the page. People you wouldn't expect, like Scott Bogusky, Chase Randall. They were getting the job done last night.
And you even look at that second page, like you'd made the point of, those guys have got to be a little bit nervous. Again, looking at the big heavy hitters, and we'll get to that in just a second, in tonight's racing. I mean, they put their best foot forward. Now it's to see, they're literally in a waiting game over the next 24 hours to see if they're going to be part of Friday's discussion and racing in. And we even saw it on social media. They said, okay, I think this is going to be one of the deepest Friday fields we've seen in a Hard Knocks or a B-Main in quite some time.
Of course, when it comes to Donnie Schatz, don't panic just yet. We already know he's won the Knoxville Nationals, coming from the Last Chance Showdown on a Saturday night. And of course, he still has that Friday night Hard Knocks program where he can still very easily get into the field. But let's start at this point, beginning to break down where we think the bubbles will be as far as making the cut in the A-Main and the B-Main. Now, over the last 7 years, you got to be about 451 or better. The cut line right between Jacob Allen and Justin Peck. These are people riding the rim right now.
Yeah, and that's got to be a nervous feeling, knowing the people that are lined up for today's racing. I mean, you've got Kyle Larson, you've got Rico Abreu that have to put together good features. And so, it's a waiting game for these guys right now. And a B-Main or a Hard Knocks, it doesn't take you out of the show. It just makes your Friday, well, a lot more difficult.
As far as the B-Main cut line, we project that to be right around 430 points. Brock Searfoss, Aaron Reutzel on the right side of that right now. Casey Kane, Kerry Madsen looking up, wondering what's going to happen tonight. So we'll have to see how all of that plays out, and it's going to start here in just a little bit. Let's take a look now at the pre-registered 55 different drivers earning points tonight as Adele, Iowa's Kelby Watt returns to his family's car for the Nationals after filling in for Bill Rose. He's still out. Who's driving the 6 this weekend? You see his name, Robbie Price, scrolling by right now. That is British Columbia's Robbie Price.
And again, if you missed some of those notables, someone that we pulled from that, Logan Schuchart, Spencer Baston, coming off of a pretty big win with 360 Nationals. Tyler Courtney, local favorite of Brian Brown, Rico Abreu, Emerson Axon, joined by Kyle Larson, Brad Sweet, Carson Macedo. And, at the tail end of this, he's pretty good at a foot race. We've seen that before, but would love to come out here with the Knoxville Nationals win. The driver all the way from down under, James McFadden.
Of course, James having to rebuild his race car after what happened last week, a runner-up on the opening night of the I-55 Ironman weekend, parked it in the fence after a parts breakage. He'll be one to see what kind of Roth 83 he's going to have tonight.
Yeah, they're going to have to put together a good full night. It's been an up and down, like you said, but it's part of racing, right? It's these moments that test the teams and test the drivers to see how they come out on top. I mean, can really set the tone for your weekend.
From 5 Nationals winners one night ago, there are 2 in the field tonight. Brad Sweet, certainly one of those, but also Kyle Larson. Let's talk about first strike. That would be a good way to categorize Gio Scelzi's opening night win on Wednesday. Well, in continuing that trend and looking ahead, we begin tonight's preview with the headline titled Defense. 1 year ago, Kyle Larson led all 50 laps to win his 62nd running of the Knoxville Nationals, his second overall, paired very nicely with his first from 2021. It also made Young Money just the 8th driver to win multiple titles. Calling it a childhood dream when he first accomplished it 3 years ago was perhaps even sweeter because he had to beat Donnie Schatz to do it. Larson would go on to win NASCAR title that year before returning to Knoxville as the defending winner, but when he missed the cut, Friday wasn't there for him, and it won't be again this year, and I'm sure that's a topic of discussion as Kyle Larson is with Connor Wade.
Well, Kyle Larson spent yesterday in Knoxville unveiling his new championship pole, raising the flag, and other things. Perhaps most importantly, watching last night's prelim action. What was the biggest thing that stood out to you about watching last night?
Just the kind of the way the track transitioned. It was hard. I was in the suites, so it was hard to see that the bottom was like flooded early in the night. So I just thought it was slick and narrow down there, and yeah, I thought the track wouldn't be very good. And then as the later heats went on, I think they kind of got the bottom thrown up to the middle, and then the track kind of came back and was really, really grippy the rest of the night. So it seemed difficult to pass. The heats were very hard for people to pass just because there was not too many lanes in the earlier heat races. But It's usually a little different Thursday night. I feel like track's usually a little bit better, so hopefully that's the case tonight, and we can qualify well and get through the heat good.
In the last week, you and Paul Silva have found so much speed, won both nights of the Ironman 55, went to Oskaloosa, won that, had a really fast car. Are you guys at a point where you can win the Knoxville Nationals, do you feel like?
I think if we can get through our prelim night, yes. But, we qualify so bad, so that's what I'm most nervous about, which we've never really qualified good on a half mile, but I feel like we're as bad as we've ever been qualifying right now, so I'm nervous about that. I hope we can get a good draw to kind of help our night out some, and then, I think our heat race package was actually good here when we were here with the Outlaws a month and a half ago or whatever it was, and just qualifying though, so we'll see. But I think if we can just get into racing in the main event, we'll be really good. And then Saturday, I think we could hopefully have a good enough night, line up in the first few rows, we'll have a good shot.
Speaking of Saturday, a busy day for you. You have to qualify the Cup car in Richmond and then come back. What does that day look like for you travel-wise?
Well, it'll be a little bit tight for sure on Saturday, but it all depends on if I lock in. I won't come back if I don't lock in because I can't run tomorrow, so I have to travel back to North Carolina to get to Richmond for qualifying and practice Saturday. So yeah, I won't be able to run Hard Knocks, so I've got more pressure on me than most people do. But if we do lock in, qualifying I don't think finishes until like 6 p.m. Eastern, and then it's probably like a 2.5 hour flight here. So it was the same way a couple years ago, and I think I got here just a little bit before A-Main Hot Laps. So yeah, that would be the same thing this year. I actually have to fly into Des Moines this year, so it would be a further drive. So it'd be a little tighter than normal, but yeah, we'll see. Hopefully tonight goes good and we'll worry about that.
Well, the time change will help you coming back a little bit. Kyle Larson begins his quest for a third Knoxville Nationals title tonight.
Thank you, Connor. A struggle on dirt this year for him. Well, it would be a career year for anybody else. I mean, just look at his recent rap sheet. Sweeping up the Ironman 55 weekend. He also won over at the Front Row Challenge. I mean, these are long races, and he's got 50 laps here this weekend. So get in the show. He's got time.
And that Ironman race was incredible to watch nonetheless. And that joke comes now, it's August. And when it's August, Kyle Larson shows up and loves to win in a sprint car. So, he's got the pressure on once again on a Friday. He's got to try and put it in the big show tonight because unavailable tomorrow. But Kyle Larson knows how to handle pressure like this.
I mentioned he didn't make it 1 year after the year he came back after winning his first. That's the only glaring start in his 9 attempts, but the numbers are simply there for him. 2 wins, 5 top 5s, 7 top 10s. Like I said, anybody else, that is absolutely career numbers. But for Kyle Larson, I guess, well, today we're going to go ahead and call it, Thursday?
Yeah.
It's just another day in his life.
Just another day for Kyle Larson in the world of sprint car racing. But speaking of statistics, I mean, it's been an uphill battle for Sunshine of Tyler Courtney when it comes to the Knoxville Nationals. With 6 attempts now under his belt, it took him till about his 5th try to finally make the big show. But since then, he's continued to build on the success with his most recent run in 2022, coming home 1 spot short of the podium in 4th. Unfortunately, though, a back injury sidelined Courtney for the 2023 Nationals, but he's back and back with a vengeance. And with a different Knoxville Nationals championship under his belt as he captured the 360s Nationals win just last weekend. And that might be just the push that he needs to catapult even further up the finishing order and double down with a 410 championship.
For me, it was awesome just to get my first wing sprint car win here. I've won, a couple USAC races, but, just never, got a wing win. So to get one last weekend, I know it was a 360, but to do that at 360 National, I felt like was really, really special for myself and our team, and give us a little bit of momentum, coming into this week. Obviously, 410 is quite a bit different, and then the intensity is up a lot higher this week. But everybody's got the same racetrack when it comes down to it, and yeah, I mean it's tough, but that's what makes the Knoxville Nationals, that special when you do win. So. Everybody's got to deal with the adversity with different conditions and track conditions, and it's usually why we choose to go Thursday. Is usually the second night's a little bit slicker and stuff like that. But yeah, no sun today, but the Duncans do a really good job at this place, and I'm sure they're going to have a great tonight too. So hopefully get ourselves a good pill and get ourselves a good qualifying lap, and then just worry about getting through our heat race and go from there.
It's always great to hear Tyler, of course, mention all those different track conditions that you have to overcome. But again, echoing the sentiment that the prep crew at Knoxville is top notch to be able to put together a racetrack like this that creates the racing that it does for the biggest sprint car racing in the world. And, you know, he's won at Knoxville, got that 360 win, but would love to be able to add a 410 win to that resume.
It is true. The Duncan family does some incredible work at that facility, but you also have to give Tyler a lot of credit because, again, he was a scourge on the USAC Tour, but taking that and putting a wing on top of that car, you hear about it all the time from the guys. These cars drive absolutely differently, and he has done a very solid job of just continuing to get better and better every year, and now he's in positions for what he was in last weekend to get the 360 Nationals title, and I think he will be good tonight.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure when you make that jump up, and a lot of eyes were on Tyler Courtney with what he was able to do, and I think he's definitely lived up to that pressure.
Well, if you are only as good as the last Nationals, that is why the defending 410 and recent 360 Knoxville Nationals champions Kyle Larson, Tyler Courtney take top billing in pre-race tonight. But if you think we're done, wait, there is more. On the backside of this quick pit stop, we will fill you in on others to keep your eyes on and let you in on the breaking news of the day announcement that will make the world of outlaws the world of brothers next season as well. All the details to come.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has won the Daytona 500.
You spend thousands of hours on the road.
Can he do it again?
Feel hundreds of horses under the hood. But every race, lap, and victory you get starts at zero. New NOS Zero Sugar. Zero sugar, 100% NOS, get after it.
I have a 2014 Toyota Tundra Crew Max pickup with 152,000 miles. The truck started losing some power on inclines and running rougher than normal. Having Seafoam high mileage to fuel helped restore power back to what it was. The engine smoothed out as well. Happy customer with good results.
To find out more about Seafoam products and how they can help your engine run better and last longer, go to SeafoamWorks.com.
I think it's a very big deal that we have AMCUS, providing us with the AMCUS cutting tools throughout our series and World Racing Group. It's good that we were able to get a product in that's reliable and it does the job. If for some reason we had to cut a car apart or get access to a driver or a patient, we know that this tool here is definitely the one that we're going to work the best, get us in there quickly.
If your answer to the summer heat is let it rain, we're looking for you. Join us at Toyota Racing.
Brake hard with the all-new Smith Tie Complete Big Brake System. Our Big Brake titanium rotor offers doubled cooling capacity, and our centrifugal fan hub increases airflow to the hotter-running inner half of the Big Brake rear caliper. Say goodbye to brake fade and overheating and hello to shorter stops and longer pad life. Complete your system with titanium piston front caliper, front rotor, aluminum billet pedal, billet reservoir, master cylinder, lines, and quick disconnects, and you'll be unstoppable. Smith Titanium. We winnovate.
It's ARP Fasteners for whatever you race. From 2 wheels to 4. Off-road, on-road, even water. From the flat track to the salt flats. Grassroots racers, weekend warriors, and pros alike trust ARP. Made in America quality, family owned and operated. When failure is not an option, it's ARP-bolts.com. No matter what you race.
Any trip to Knoxville, whether it's Nationals week or not, would not be complete without a trip to the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, the building you see right now just offside of turn number 2. A great spot to relive the history of sprint car racing. Earlier today, it gave us a preview of its future as well. It was inside that building, the 24-year-old Cole Macedo announced that he is following the path of his older brother Carson when he joins the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series next year. The former journeyman takes over the wheel of the 2C Sprinter, and that is the same car the 2020 Kevin Gobrick Rookie of the Year Wayne Johnson drove. Cole will chase that very same award, with Wayne Johnson still very much a part of the team as well, as he will take over the crew chief details. The year spent crisscrossing the country to get seat time, including a June stop to race the 2C earlier this year at Knoxville. Cole's potential, well, it has always been there. Needless to say, he is more than ready for his next step in the sprint car career by becoming an outlaw.
Oh, I'm excited to do it. I'm the late nights in the airports and red eyes and it was a grind this year, and I'm just so thankful it's paying off, and thankful for these guys, Wayne and Todd and Kelly, giving me a shot here. I feel like the last couple of years have been tough, and all that hard work I feel like it's finally paying off, and these guys are giving me a shot, and I think that Wayne and I are going to work really well together. Him being an ex-driver, when I come in and say, hey, I'm feeling this or that, I think that he's going to pick up what I'm putting down, So, I'm just super excited to be, racing on a World of Outlaw Tour. It's what I dreamed of when I was a little kid, and, me and Carson both, and I think that it's going to be super cool to live that out with my brother, and, I'm super excited.
And that's going to be very cool. As an only child, I'm jealous that I've never had a brother or sister. You've raced with brothers. You've raced with those brothers.
Yeah, and when me and my brother raced, let me tell you, I don't care what anyone says, family rivalry might just outpack any other rivalry on the racetrack, because me and my brother and my dad actually at one point, all three of us ran the same series at one point, and there'd be a whole race going on within that race. The bragging rights took place. You wanted to beat no one more, especially me and my brother, who there's only about 2.5 years, and I think that's about the gap between Carson and Cole as well. So, they've raced around each other since they've been young, all the way from outlaw carts, where the height differences continued to stagger. I think Cole now currently holds the height gap there on Carson.
Correct me if I'm wrong, you were the tall one at one point
of
all of them, right?
That's usually how that works. The girl hits the growth spurt, and then eventually the boys just stack up on it. But they both got me beat now. So it'll be great to see that. They can lean on each other as well, but the rivalry will definitely be there.
We've checked on some of the other brother combinations that have spent time in sprint cars. There's a lot of them out there. As far as World of Outlaws, about the highest profile ones we could think of course, is Sammy Swindell and his brother Jeff Swindell. But you got the Madsons, Ian and Kerry. You've got the Blaneys that have raced as well as the Kinzer. There's a connection somewhere along there. But we got to welcome the new brothers. Good to see Cole's going to be a World of Outlaw member next year.
Yeah, we always talk about the World of Outlaws being a family sport. Well, they take it to the next level with them both being on tour next year. And fortunately for Cole, he's not going into it blindly, and he can lean on Big Brother, who now has 6 consecutive runs at the Knoxville Nationals with an upward trending statistics, which is always a good sign. So Carson Macedo, who bested his national stats with a 5th place effort last season, he knows how to get around Knoxville Raceway and was able to secure himself a good starting position on the Saturday show by winning his preliminary night in 2023. And we heard it from all of the drivers in yesterday's frontrunners on how important it is to capitalize on your prelim night. Well, fortunately, Macedo has already tackled that feat once before, and Connor Wade, he hopes that he can back it up once again here this evening.
Carson Macedo made his preliminary run at the Knoxville Nationals tonight, and Carson, you guys struggled back at Knoxville, back in June here at Knoxville, but since then, really good in the Cappy on Sunday, a couple podiums at I-55, and then another podium on Monday at Oskaloosa. Are you happy with the point you've gotten back to at this place?
Yeah, I just think that we've it seems like we've got our speed back. We were able to have a really good car throughout the whole night, I feel like, at the Cappy, and then go to Oski the following night and qualify well, run really well in our heat, and then, run on the podium there in the feature. I thought that was a really good effort. So I'm looking forward to tonight. It sounds like we drove a 41, which hopefully is some good luck, and we can put this thing on the front stretch and do another good job tonight.
So Jason Johnson Racing has 2 Knoxville Nationals wins, one with Jason and then with David Gravel in 2019. However, you don't have one yet. Does that make you want it a little bit more?
Yeah, it would just be nice to get him another win. I feel like for Phillip to be able to win with 3 different drivers would be pretty special as well. And I think both of our guys, Adam Zimmerman, Robbie McQuinn, they've never won the Nationals before either. So it would be pretty special for them. Anytime you can win the Nationals, whether it's I bet if you asked Donnie if he could win a 12th one, would it be special to him? It would be. It's just a big race. It's one that we look forward to all year. It's probably the biggest race on our schedule, hands down. and we're just looking forward to it. It's a huge week, tons of fan turnout, just good to see the fan engagement and the hype around the event.
It was announced earlier today your brother, Cole Macedo, is joining the Tour in 2025 in the Wayne Johnson 2C. Are you excited to have your brother racing on Tour with you every week?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I think he's worked really hard for that opportunity. He got to race with Wayne earlier in the year here at Knoxville, and they did really well together, and it seems like, I think that, for him, just being out on the Outlaw Tour and getting that experience, and, the rookie year is always a special year, right, because you kind of come in with no expectations, and you just drive the best you can, and if a good night happens, you're ecstatic. So I think that he'll do a good job. I know he's worked really hard to be in the position to be on the World of Outlaw Tour in the first place, so I'm happy for him, and especially I didn't even realize they announced it, so that's awesome that they did.
Carson Macedo won the Thursday night preliminary in 2023. Tonight he'll try to do the same in 2024. Guys?
Thank you very much, Connor. Of course, as Hunter Page, as our producer, just pointed out, how about the 41 driver drawing the 41 pill? Is that kismet? Well, we will all find out here beginning in just a little bit. But I want to take you back. It was only just last June that he had that unfortunate flip, a very violent one in turn 4. The car catches fire. His hands are bandaged for a long, long time. When you go back to a place, and now granted he was able to get a prelim win last year, but when you go back to a place, how quickly do those memories flood back, or do you have to hold them back? How do you process it?
I will never forget, I had a pretty bad wreck myself that ended up in a broken arm, plates and pins. Actually, you can see the scar very well there on the camera. And I had multiple people in different disciplines of racing tell me that once you get back behind the wheel of that race car with fear, you're no longer allowed to be in that position, because when you race with fear, you don't race to your full capacity. And that just goes to show a testament of the fact that he's not only able to climb back behind the wheel within the time capacity that he did. I think I covered Beaver Dam for the World of Outlaws not long after that, and he still had his hands wrapped. He had padding in his race suit from those injuries, and still was able to climb back, but then return to the scene of the crime per se, and still put that best effort forward. So, I mean, hats off to them. And he probably feels like in some capacity, this racetrack owes him a little bit something. That victory is going to be a little bit sweeter when it does come.
Well, there's no doubt that the potential is there. We've seen it ever since he's gotten inside of that 41 car. This year, though, it hasn't exactly gone his way. It really struggled out of the gate at Volusia. It took the time for this team to get speed. But what does a big event like this, the Nationals, is it separate from the season big picture, or is it something that's a part of the sum of the whole?
I mean, I think it's a pivotal point, right? You're at that mid-season. We saw that momentum start to ramp up post-Volusia for that team. And, they even said it. We wish we could just scrap Volusia as a whole, because that momentum ramped up. And then they hit this plateau. So it's mid-season. It's crown jewel season right now for all disciplines of racing. And it could be pivotal to potentially project them higher than that consistent third place they have here in the World of Outlaw point standing.
We'll see how it works for Carson here in just a little bit. But like Macedo, well, it hasn't been the year that Logan Schuchart expected either. After a few subtle changes at the start of the year intended to get the Shark Racers ahead of the curve, well, instead it put them behind the 8 ball. But their Cedar Lake win to end the month of June has the team in a much better trajectory. Solid run by teammate Jacob Allen last night also brought promise to the Shark Racers. But after drawing the 70 pill just a little bit ago, Logan is fully aware of the challenges that it poses tonight. But he need only look back 2 years ago when they followed a Sunday Capitani Classic win with a Wednesday prelim feature win at the Nationals. Don't call them underdogs, call them the little engine that can and has before. As we get a look at Logan's preliminary numbers, keep in mind that many of the 14 attempts that he's made at the Nationals came in his leaner earlier years of his career. I would instead point you to the fact that once in a prelim feature that includes Friday night's Hard Knocks program, well, the numbers are simply there. A win, 6 top 10s, an average finish of 5.85.
I think our car is going to be really good. I think we're going to be able to race good, pass cars. I felt good in traffic. We laid a good qualifying lap the second night when we were able to race the bottom. So it kind of just, like I said, we pulled a really bad pill, but it depends whether we can go out and hit the bottom late in qualifying or if it's greasy, kind of like it was last night, and you got to run the top, or probably our chances of qualifying well are pretty slim. So we'll see what we can do, and then if we do get in the back or whatever, I think we can pass cars. We were fast in June, had a chance to win. We're as good as anybody. So look back on our notes from being here at Knoxville, and we ran well in the past. So, but hopefully we get a little bit of luck our way later.
Now we can enter the often debated, never really proven strategy when it comes to the Knoxville Nationals. Do you really think that drivers in those kinds of positions sort of try to position themselves to where, well, if we're going to have a bad qualifying night, maybe we should qualify at the front of the field, thereby getting into the A and ensuring ourselves the best possible A main finish?
I mean, with how intense this format is and how the points play out, I will say in the grand scheme of thing, it does offer forgiveness, but you've got to be able to work for it and have a car that works towards that attitude as well, because, you know, like we heard Logan, he's already expecting a poor qualifying effort just based on the pill that he's drawn in the track conditions he'll go out in. But we saw some big movers in the B main last night with David Gravel able to do something with it. We saw big movers in heat races, able to get those heat race points. So the opportunities to capitalize on, unfortunately, a poor qualifying effort, they're there. You just have to take advantage of them. So I don't know that it's strategy. I think you're really kind of subject to luck and subject to condition here, but you can dig yourself out of that hole.
And let's face it, when you're a World of Outlaw racer, you also have the additional power that you have under the hood. It's not rare to see a guy come out late and pick off a good qualifying number. It can and will happen, as he talked about. Depends on where that racetrack is. If there's moisture on the bottom, you can still run a good lap at Knoxville.
Well, of course, his teammate also with a great run last night of Jacob Allen. So, you know, same track, probably a little bit different conditions. Like we'd heard a couple drivers say, the sun maybe not shining as intensely there this afternoon, but still a notebook, a baseline to draw on. They're one of the few two-car teams here at Knoxville Nationals this weekend, so they've got to be able to lean on each other.
You think they're better as a two-car team when they race together? Because they've split apart this year. One high limit, one outlaw racer. You think they're better together? I do. I personally do.
And it all comes down to what the driver wants, right? How many two-car teams do we have where you see two different drivers drive completely different setups, and at that point you just split the notebooks. It's not even worth it. But nonetheless, that information is still probably valuable.
Buddy Kofoid, James McFadden come to mind when you bring that up. Well, in addition to the veteran presence in night number 2, there are highly touted first-timers in the field tonight as well. The odds-on favorite to battle for this year's Rookie of the Nationals honors. Let's start with the now 18-and-a-half-year-old, as of his half birthday in July, Benton, Arkansas's Landon Crawley. He became the driver for Sides Motorsports, running his first outlaw show in Volusia just days after meeting the legal requirement of being 18. Debuting at the world's fastest half mile at the Dirt Car Nationals, his Quick Time Award earned him a lot of respect and the first of his 7 Toyota Dash appearances this year. And granted, the overall results have been mixed, including a pair of DNQs, or did not even start back in Knoxville in June. But, you know, one quick lap tonight, that just might be all that Landon Crawley needs to change everything, his course of future, of course.
And Landon has shown that he can qualify, but some of the young guns in the field we often call rookies, but they come with a mixture of experience. But when it comes to Emerson Axum, on the other hand, he is a true Knoxville Nationals rookie and is titled as the potential favorite for the 2024 Nationals Rookie of the Year award. He's ran some 410 sprint cars throughout the Midwest. In addition to creeping up to the Pennsylvania region, Axum has racked up the laps and padded his racing resume with consistently solid finishes. But it's two different ball games, and to better prepare himself, the Franklin, Indiana driver has been running both 410s and 360s on a regular basis at Knoxville Raceway in hopes of stepping up the pressures that comes with running the Knoxville Nationals.
You know, we don't really have a whole lot to lose. You know, you come into these races, these big races with, you know, not a whole lot of expectations except just you want to at least know you were there. So, yeah, I think our speed's been fine this year, so I'm not super worried about that. It's just, you know, you got to be able to put together a full night of these kind of races. So, yeah, I'm not super nervous. I think just we go out and do our job, and you know, we'll be all right. And you know, I feel like only good can come from it. So, you know, you're not gonna beat any of these guys on experience. So, you know, with it being our first year, just a little bit of experience, a little bit of dirty air and experience, and you know, we've shown that when me and the car are working together, we can race with whoever. So, you know, we just got to make sure we're getting me comfortable and making sure that we're all working together as a team.
And you know, when it comes to guys like Emerson and Dason Persley, who we didn't even talk about tonight, making his run this evening, you know, the proving ground for these kids is really come a long, long way. Right here in North Carolina, we've got Millbridge Speedway. A lot of these guys I've covered from the Tulsa Shootout, they've made their way up to the Chili Bowl. So all the playgrounds are certainly there for these kids. No surprise that they're as good as they are this soon.
Well, and it goes back to someone like Sunshine that we talked about, right? They cut their teeth, they build that resume, and they have to have to take that next step up, and that next step for a lot of these drivers is 360s and 410s. But man, what a place to step into, right? 110 of the best sprint car drivers in the world meeting at one racetrack, a daunting racetrack at that, that I think humble even the most confident drivers, but also can really build the confidence and find momentum in young rookie drivers like an Emerson Axum, a Dason Pursley, a Ryan Timms, and many of the other rookies that are joining the class this season.
Well, that is our cue right now to send it out to Knoxville. It's about time to get night number 2 underway. Of course, the guys with the call, John Gibson, Tony Bokhoven, covering all the action in the pits. It's Wade Aunger and our Dirt Vision's very own Connor Wade. That's going to do it from the studio as the focus now turns to the remaining qualifiers, all trying to earn enough points to make the 63rd Knoxville Nationals, NOS Energy Drink Nationals, that is, the place and the race where win lives on forever.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. But if they hang your picture at Knoxville, 1,000 words may not be enough.
Pray before the races, I always have. I probably run 1 million races, and I prayed 1 million times.
Look at that, Eddie, to the bottom. Danny Lasowski goes by Sammy for the 12th time. Steve Kinter has won the Knoxville Nationals. Greg Kinter is the 45th Knoxville Nationals champion. Donnie Schatz returns to victory lane at the Knoxville Nationals.
I know he wasn't happy with me for crowding him, but shit, I want to win.
Let's short count the big cat wins the Knoxville Nationals.
To be up here is a dream that I never thought I'd ever come close to being true.
David Gravel wins the Knoxville Nationals. Kyle Larson wins Knoxville Nationals number 2.
Thought it was worth a shot, and he talked the fair board into a $5,000 purse and a Nationals, and it went great, had a good crowd, and it's just been growing ever since.
Welcome to the 63rd running of the Knoxville Nationals.
Welcome in to Thursday night, the second preliminary night of the 63rd annual NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals presented by Casey's, and welcome to Knoxville Raceway. I'm Connor Wade, kicking off our coverage here on Dirt Vision from the sprint car capital of the world. Beautiful day here in Knoxville, Iowa, 74 degrees, so it's warm, but it's breezy as well. 12-mile-per-hour winds, the sun's kind of popping in and out throughout the day. Currently sunny here at the moment. We're just a few moments away from getting the night started with hot laps. Let's take a look at our pre-race coverage. Night number 1 was a lot of fun. Gio Selzy got the win, a late race pass on Jacob Allen for that win. Gio, the high point man, after that first night, a potentially even more stacked field. Lining up the pit area here on night number 2, 52 cars signed in for competition, including the man that won the Thursday preliminary night last year, and that's Carson Macedo. He goes for another win here tonight. Also in the field, the front row sitters from last year's Knoxville Nationals finale, and that includes the pole sitter who ended up being the champion of that race, Kyle Larson, and the man that started on his outside, Rico Abreu. We're going to start this Wade's World by talking about Rico, who's already been to victory lane this week. He won the Capitani Classic on Sunday night, and if you watch that race here on Dirt Vision, you saw he was by far the class of the field. A dominant performance for Rico Abreu, and he comes into tonight with a lot of notes from last year where he sat on the front row, like I said, of the Nationals, and Rico feels like he just needs to eliminate the little mistakes and he can easily win this crown jewel event.
I think it just all relates to making sure we get qualified good. Just not over pressing in certain circumstances and racing our own race. So we've been really focusing on, you know, those opportunities, and it's just a matter of positioning yourself. And last year we positioned ourselves, unfortunately had a flat tire just before halfway, and it kind of just set us back where I didn't really, you know, advance right back on up through there like I thought we would. And, you know, all these drivers that make the main on Saturday are extremely good. They have extremely good cars, so I think track position is really keen. And 50 laps is a long race, but it's split up into 2 flights pretty much, you know, where you get new tires and fuel, and you get to start over again. So just as long as we can position ourselves, that's all that matters to me.
Rico has ran 5 races at Knoxville in 2024, ran with the Outlaws here back in June, ran a couple of weekly shows, and of course that Capitani Classic on Sunday. And if you looked at the finishes, a third, that one DNF, but other than that, the third, fourth, second, and of course the win on Sunday night. Rico's been very good at this racetrack. Ricky Warner, his crew chief, also pretty good when it comes to his drivers getting wins here at Knoxville Raceway. So a lot of people on the grounds here at Knoxville Raceway think Rico is the guy to watch tonight. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. How about 2 drivers in the field that didn't plan to be at Knoxville Raceway this week at all until some circumstances just allowed them to do so? Both of those drivers making a qualifying run here tonight. That's Robbie Price, who will drive the Bill Rose Racing number 6, and Ryan Timms, who will be in the 5T. Let's start with Robbie Price. On Sunday, the shocking announcement came that Kelby Watt, who had been subbing for Bill Rose, and Bill had parted ways. It was a surprise after the two had ran together for over a month, and it looked pretty good, but they parted ways. Kelby is back to the family car of the 1K. Bill Rose gave a call to Robbie Price, who wasn't even expecting to run the Knoxville Nationals this year. Price, the Canadian driver, has spent all of 2024 running mainly at Skagit Speedway in Washington and has been good, qualified well, and got into victory lane. Also a NARC win at Willamette. But Robbie, you might remember him. He drove Jason Sides' number 7S on the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Tour in 2023, and Robbie's actually ran the last 2 Nationals for Jason Sides. So Robbie back in the pit area at Knoxville, as is Ryan Timms. Timms has been running the entire schedule for the Extreme Outlaw Midget Series presented by Toyota in 2024. They were scheduled to race Appalachian Midget Week in Pennsylvania this week, but thanks to the hurricane that's rummaging through the Northeast, that entire week was canceled on Tuesday. So Ryan, Jimmy Jones, and the 5T team loaded up the sprint car and drove to Knoxville. Timms will make his 2nd attempt at the Knoxville Nationals this week and qualify for it tonight. So keep an eye on Robbie Price and Ryan Timms. They didn't expect to be here, but they're glad they are and just hoping to make the best out of their preliminary opportunity here tonight. Let's take a look at points for the Knoxville Nationals after night 1. I mentioned last night's winner, Giovanni Scelzi, the high point man, puts up 471 points. Outside of Gio, not really a ton of high points efforts last night. Anthony Macri, Scott Badusky, Corey Day, and Brent Marks rounding out the top 5. And if you look at prior years, usually the cutoff number for the top 16 to lock into the show after the 2 prelim nights is somewhere around 450. It gives or it takes. It's actually also progressively gone down over the years. But talking to people, drivers, fans, crews at Knoxville today, they don't really think that a whole lot of people are guaranteed a spot in the show. If we see a lot of good prelim performances tonight and a lot of drivers rack up points, you could very easily see 6th on down in points right now find themselves in the last chance showdown tomorrow night. So should be somewhere around there. Mention that 450 number. If that continues to be the number you want to shoot for, 9th and up are currently at 450 or more points. So it's really going to be interesting to watch the prelims tonight, see if drivers are able to gain points in the heat races. Points in the heat races last night seem to be a little bit at a premium, so watch those specifically tonight to see if guys pick up points, and it'll be very interesting to see how the points unfold. Remember, the top 16 lock into the finale tomorrow night. Another number we're going to look at is the 26th and up in points. Those are the drivers that are going to lock into, in the very least, the front 5 rows of the B main on Saturday night. Usually, everybody outside the top 26 competes in the Hard Knocks prelim on Friday night. So that number is kind of a rough estimate, but there's a very good chance if a driver's outside the top 26, we will see them run Hard Knocks tomorrow night. So keep an eye on the points all night long. I'm sure myself, Wade, Tony, and Johnny will definitely be updating you on it. Let's take a look at the order of events for our program this evening as that wraps up our pre-race coverage. Hot laps and Seafoam qualifying will start the night. We'll take a brief break for Your Life Iowa opening ceremonies here on this Thursday preliminary night. 5 10-lap heat races. Again, points the name of the game in qualifying and the heat races. We'll take a brief intermission after that for some track prep. A 10-lap C-Main and a 12-lap Microlight Last Chance Showdown will complete the starting lineup for tonight's 12,000 to win 25-lap feature event. And again, points once again the name of the game in that feature. 200 points to set fast time, 100 points to win a heat race, 200 points to win a feature, and on down from there. Packing is just finishing up, just a few moments away from hot laps. Myself and Wade Aunger will be down here in the pit area this evening. Let's get things up to the Hall of Fame broadcast booth. Tony Bokhoven, the voice of Knoxville Raceway and the voice of the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. John Gibson, gentlemen, good evening. Last night, a lot of fun, and a lot of people are saying that this pit area tonight might be even more stacked than it was last night.
Thank you, Connor, and I agree. Last night was a great night, but tonight, a very tough night. Big names in this field tonight. Kyle Larson, one of those we see down there. Brad Sweet and Johnny. Relatively low point total for the high point man last night, something we're not used to seeing. We're used to seeing it a little higher, so tonight could be a very different evening.
It definitely could be one of those years where we see a majority of the drivers locking into the Saturday feature from tonight versus last night. And we talk about the defending champion, Kyle Larson, and what happened here last night with the first driver out for Seafoam qualifying, setting the fast time. Well, guess who drew the lowest pill this evening? Kyle Larson will be the first driver on the speedway for Seafoam qualifying.
So the cars are making their way down to staging. The push truck's still on the racetrack here for just a little bit longer. They'll be bringing the cars out to do a little wheel packing here in just a minute. Like last night, we brought a whole bunch of them out. Then we split the field up, brought half of them back in, and then we went into our first hot lap session of the evening, much like that again tonight.
Yeah, that's exactly what we'll see. We'll see groups 1 and 2 of the 6 groups scheduled for warm-ups this evening come out and do some wheel packing, and then once they deem the track ready, they'll send group 2 back into the pit area and get underway with the practice session for group number 1. What a beautiful evening it's turned out to be. Earlier this afternoon, I was walking over from the Hall of Fame and actually felt a couple of raindrops here. It was overcast most of the morning, but the clouds have moved out. There's not a cloud in the sky right now, a bit of a breeze, and man, I'll take these mid-70s anytime.
Well, yeah, and this morning it was really windy this morning too, and when I got up this morning and stuck my head outside and had coffee on the outside of my motorhome and thought, man, I need a hooded sweatshirt here for just a second. You know me, I like it cold.
Yes. I've got my jacket here in the tower ready for later on this evening, because when Tony Bokhoven has control of the air conditioner.
We were talking about that earlier. Folks, what you don't get to see is I like the press box to be fairly cool, and Johnny sits directly right in front of the air conditioner, and when it's 90 degrees outside, he's got his winter jacket on in here.
My Eskimo co-announcer.
Yeah, that's right.
So again, crossing a few folks through the gate on turn number 4, and push trucks at the ready to bring sprint cars onto the speedway. And again, groups 1 and 2 will come out and do some wheel packing before we actually get underway with our warm-up sessions. Tonight, of course, is Toyota qualifying night at the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals, presented by Casey's. Toyota qualifying night here this evening.
I want to thank Chuck Sink from Sage Fruit for sponsoring our pre-race show this afternoon and the Anything Goes show right before that. And of course, it was great to have Lauren and the entire group on from NOS today. And Richard and Jennifer Marshall were there with us, and glad to have them down there as well. And it's been a lot of fun having the teams on the show. There's a look at Austin McCarl, one of those drivers. You know, we talked a little bit, Johnny, on our show this afternoon. There's probably a short list of some Knoxville regulars that could be in contention, having a good point night come Saturday night. Austin would definitely be one of those guys high on the list.
Yeah, the big unit, now a 2-time Knoxville Raceway champion, and having a very good 2024 campaign as well. And again, the McCarl family roots run very deep here in Marion County.
That's fact. If you're watching on Dirt Vision, there's a look at the Knoxville Panthers water tower here in town. We sure wish that you were here. There's a look at the big cat, Brad Sweet, and everybody getting ready to go. Just letting a few folks into the infield right now. That's what we're waiting on at the moment. The push trucks have pulled off the racetrack, and just getting some fans across both directions, and we'll be set to go with the first warm-up session as you take a look at those cars down in staging now.
Tony, what a crowd we had here last night for the opening night of the 2024 NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals presented by Casey's. I did confirm earlier this afternoon that was the largest Wednesday night crowd in Nationals history.
I'm not surprised. It looked really good last night, and just milling around here today, there's been a lot of fans on the grounds today. So I think the weather helps that. Obviously, when it's not terribly hot, people are a little more motivated to go walk around and check things out.
So then, again, the crowd will continue to file in as we make our way through the warm-up sessions and then Seafoam qualifying.
You know, Johnny, you see a lot of different racetracks throughout the year, but for me anyway, it's always so refreshing when we see people on the back straightaway here. It's unique enough here to this racetrack. You know, when I look back there for 16 to 20 weekends a year, there's nobody there.
Yeah, so cool to see the backstretch, and again, some folks already there, and it will continue to fill in. And again, it will be full on Saturday night because for the 8th consecutive year, we have sold out on Saturday night already.
That's right. Everything's gone for Saturday night. So if you don't have a ticket, you're going to be watching on Dirt Vision.
Cars now rolling toward the speedway. Again, this will be groups 1 and 2 to do some wheel packing, but we'll introduce the drivers who are out here on the speedway. First driver to make his way trackside out of Visalia, California, driving the Commercial Edge, BO Holdings, Elliott's Custom Trailers, Bargain Barn, number 8, Corey Eliasson.
From Bellevue, Ohio, driving the Jeff Warden Company, Primal Tea Shop, Elliott's Custom Trailers, Premier Planning Services, car number 33W, that's Cap Henry.
And from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, aboard the Dahmer Powertrain, Telstar, Fatheads Eyewear, Maxima Oil, Hobson Family, number 21H, the Macho Man, Brady Bacon.
From Elk Grove, California, your defending champion, the Finley Farms, Fulkins Brothers Trucking, Flow Racing, JVI Group, Works Limited, car number 57, Young Money, Kyle Larson.
And car number 74, the Motor Haven, Schnee Lawson Chassis, TNT Performance Equine, Design Source Flooring, entry driver of Odessa, Missouri is Xavier Doney.
From Adel, Iowa, driving the Dirt Draft, KRM and Tanzanite Homes, Carl Coons Agency, TNS Industries, Michaelite Feed Ingredient, car number 1K, that's Kelby Watt.
And from Owasso, Oklahoma, in the Jetco Glenville Station, Carmen Truck and Crates Oval Track Parts, number 69K, Darren Pittman.
From Brandon, South Dakota, in the ACS Roofing, Zomer Trucking, Primetime Express, Red Rock Bar and Grill, car number 3J, that's Dusty Zomer.
And from West Burlington, Iowa, driving the Land Pride, Morning Sun Farm, Implement, Fendt, Massey Ferguson, Metalcraft, number 49J, Josh Schneiderman.
From Indianapolis, Indiana, piloting the NOS Energy Drink, Elliott's Custom Trailers and Carts, Spire Motorsports, car number 7 BC, Sunshine, Tyler Courtney.
And from Liberal, Kansas, in the Bybee Electric Trucks Plus, Mel Hamilton Racing, number 36, Jason Martin.
From Alice Springs, Northern Territory, in the TRD Mobile One, Roth Motorsports, Roth Enterprises, HR Livestock Transportation, car number 83 Senior, that's J-Mac James McFadden.
And from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, in the Electric Construction, Parker Engines, Fluth Reynolds, number 40, Clint Garner.
From Apollo, Pennsylvania, the Mercedes Motorsports, Ducati of Pittsburgh, DeZiel Property Management, Mike Cluck Paving, car number 42, that's Cy Lynch.
And from Lubbock, Texas, aboard the Carbon Safety Technologies High Plains Building Division, Wilson Wrecker Service, number 1C, Brenham Crouch.
From Indianapolis, Indiana, the Edco General Contractors, Daystar Directional Drilling, Collision Concepts, Horsepower Incorporated, car number 35, that's Zach Hampton.
And from Grimes, Iowa, the Kenmore Phillips Floors, Academy Roofing, Maxwell Aircraft Service, Pro Diesel, number 2M, Orion Giles. Also on the speedway from Northport, Florida, the Global Link Impact Signs, Awnings and Wraps, shopd3.com, dirtcrowd.com, number 24D of Danny Sams III. Drivers being given instructions right now via the Racing Electronics one-way communication system to move down on the speedway and help to pack in the low side of the racing surface.
You know, Tony, one of the things, and Johnny, one of the things I truly love about this Knoxville Nationals experience is how you just meet people and you go, wow, no kidding. Like people just come up to you and say, hey, this is who I am. And not being big noting, but just in conversation, these things comes up. I have a bit of a habit of stalking Ed Lynch Jr. Sorry, I just get a bit, gooey about that 2L car, which was such an iconic car, the Apollo rocket over the years. And just last night, I was talking to the Sinnett brothers, and one of the guys said, my brother is John Sinnett. And I said, oh, mate, I certainly know that name. And when we were talking the other night about that incident with Marlon Jones and Dave Blaney in turn 1 earlier on, Ricky Warner actually sent me a message and said, hey, mate, wow, I remember that like it was yesterday. And then you and I today were talking to John Sinnett about that whole experience. It's an incredible thing. He raced for almost 50 years on and off in that period. But that race and that crash changed the safety fence configuration in many ways, Tony.
Yeah, and what Wade's talking about, folks, is the big crash that was down in turn number 1. It was on Diamond P, and they walked away, and all those shows of when Dave Blaney, Danny Toman, John Sinnett, they all went crashing through the fence there in turn 1. Now, that was back in the day when the guardrail was made of wood. And it wasn't long after that, John Hall went through the fence about where the Brandt sign is there in turn number 2. But it wasn't long after that, then they changed and went away from the wood guardrails here to the hub rail.
And he remembers that incident like it was yesterday. He said, I got a good run going around the top side of the racetrack in that heat race. He thought, I'm just going to be able to scooch around the top here and really get ripping. And then, as we know, that's not the way it panned out.
It's been interesting to watch the development of the retaining wall here at the Knoxville Raceway with the track so close to Highway 14. We went from a wooden wall to the K rails or the Armco guardrails there, and now the extension of the catch fence on top of those rails after we put a car out on Highway 14 not long ago.
Yeah, so the guardrail to Wade's conversation too, we didn't even talk about that, Wade, how it's 11 feet higher than it ever was.
And wasn't it R.J. Johnson that got out of the yard in turn 3 and 4?
Well, R.J. got us a new scoreboard a couple years ago.
Isn't it nice how these drivers think about how can I improve the facility?
I think the thing most notable in 3 and 4 was when Jimmy Evans went out in the motor car.
Yeah.
Wow.
Straight up, wheels down, just like he went off a ramp, right up between where the NOS Energy billboard is and the scoreboard, just went for sailing right out over the fence.
It's incredible, guys. For as long as the 3 of us have been around this game, you still have liveries and companies that are burned into your brain. You remember when the Blaney car came out with Amoco. And remember they had Amoco as the Knoxville National sponsor. And I remember Dean Jacobs in the Frigidaire car and Lance Blevins in the Sitco car. And the Motter Brothers, the Eco Water entry when Kenny Jacobs drove that, and the 7T Dub and the 8T Dub and the Joe Gertie car. And the TMs, the list goes on and on and on. We become very geeky when we think about those things, but I love that a lot of those liveries are 50 years old or plus, and it's still very important to people like us.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, when I write down statistics of a racetrack at the beginning of the night, like the track record is so-and-so, and the first World of Outlaws race took place here in 1981 or whatever, and instead of writing down names of the drivers of one, I just use car numbers, but it's still, to me, if it's Doug Wolfgang, it's 8D, or if it's Brad Doty, 28D.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I still use those numbers.
I still think of Daniel Lasowski in the 49, right?
Do you remember phone numbers that way? Sometimes that's the only way I can remember numbers. Is I'll say Doug Wolfgang, Brooke Tatnell, Stevie Smith, and there's another one, like the Ingersoll Rand car that Stevie Smith ran.
My cell phone was, when I got my cell phone number, it was Tony Stewart's car number at the time and the year I was born. That's how I remembered it.
Oh, you've left a door so wide open there. But those are iconic, I remember Darren Pittman, I think he ran the 3P. Back in the day. Because, Johnny, that was actually the first time you and I worked together. It was at the Bud Carson Memorial with Shane Carson. Back in the day, if you remember that, Brooke was in the Lonnie Parsons, another iconic thing that had Casey's involved as well. And it was the Bud Carson Memorial. And Andy Hillenberg was still running then as well, of course, and he was always been a big deal. God, I love this sport, boys. Sorry, I'm rambling. I can do it with you all night, fellas.
Looks like we're going to set to wave the green flag on group number 1, a practice with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series Toyota qualifying night of the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals, presented by Casey's. So Tony, as the cars wind up to speed, we will expect the lap times to be fairly slow at the start, just like we saw last night. But one thing we expected last night that we did not see was some green flag laps and then a little bit of slow wheel packing and back to another green flag session. Group number 1, they got their one shot at it and that was it.
Yeah, we did the wheel packing with the second group as they came out and then went on through the running order here. So I'm guessing we'll see that much again tonight.
Now, I'm not sure that's going to be the case this evening because when we first got started last night, the lap times were 19 seconds or so, but now we're in the 20 to 21 second bracket. So we're a little slower here, a little slicker as we get started with our warm-up sessions. Josh Schneiderman and Corey Eliason down into the 19s. Well, now the track comes in. Cap Henry 18.7, Dusty Zomer 18.7, Brady Bacon 18.0. So the track very quickly coming in here in this opening practice session. Brady Bacon, Kyle Larson, and Darren Pittman now the 3 fastest so far in group number 1. A lot of smoke out of the 33W for Cap Henry as he makes his way through the corners here at the Knoxville Raceway. Brady Bacon still quickest in this warm-up session. Kyle Larson second. Kelby Watt now takes third, but now Xavier Doney around Watt to the third spot. Corey Eliason fourth. He is surpassed by Josh Schneiderman. And we are going to see some slow wheel packing under yellow flag conditions before we go back to green. And Darren Pittman, the first driver into the 17-second bracket, the only driver in the 17s in that first portion of session number 1. Pittman turning a 17.744 at 104.486 miles per hour for the average speed. Brady Bacon currently second quick, 18.015. Kyle Larson third, 18.382. Xavier Doney and Josh Schneiderman rounding out the top 5. And again, we'll allow these drivers to do a little bit of slow wheel packing. We'll come back to a green-white checkered conclusion to group number 1's practice session. And we normally see lap times improve by sometimes a second to a second and a half just by doing a couple of laps of slow wheel packing. Darren Pittman looked very good here Sunday evening during the running of the Capitani Classic. And for somebody who races just a handful of times per year, still certainly knows how to get the job done. Already a feature winner this season at the legendary Williams Grove Speedway. Pittman owns 3 career victories here at the Knoxville Raceway. We get set to go back to green flag conditions to wrap up practice session number 1. Green flag displayed once again. Final couple of laps for the drivers in group number 1 to get a feel for the racetrack before they move into Seafoam qualifying. Cap Henry now into the second spot, and Dusty Zomer tops the field. Brady Bacon into the low 16s. Kyle Larson now 16.262. So again, a big improvement in lap times after that quick wheel packing session. Darren Pittman back to the top of the first into the 15s at a 15.900. Darren Pittman, Kyle Larson, Corey Eliason, now Brady Bacon into the third spot. Larson into the 15s as well, but Pittman still on top of the speed chart as the checkered flag waves. Fastest driver in practice session number 1, Darren Pittman in the 69K, 15.900 seconds at 116.604 miles per hour. Kyle Larson second quickest at a 15.993. Brady Bacon third, 16.323. Corey Eliason fourth, and Kelby Watt rounds out the top 5. Group number 2 now coming onto the speedway for their practice session. Sunshine back out, Tyler Courtney and the NOS Energy Drink number 7 BC. Zach Hampton returning in the 35, the Edco General Contractors entry.
Ryan Giles in the car number 2M. That's the Kem Morse Phillips Floors entry from Grimes, Iowa.
Cy Lynch, the Ducati of Pittsburgh, number 42.
Jason Martin from Liberal, Kansas in the Bybee Electric 36.
Danny Sams, the 24D Global Link entry.
The Electric Construction 40 of Clint Garner from Sioux Falls.
And James McFadden in the Toyota Racing Development number 83 Senior.
Brenham Crouch from Lubbock, Texas in the Carbon Safety Technologies 1C.
Drivers given further instruction via the Racing Electronics Communication System. Get those left rear wheel, or by those left side wheels, I should say, right down in the slop on the inside of the racetrack. Want to work that in before we raise the green flag on practice session number 2. Tony, we've talked about this before. I still find it a little funny that we talk about the track being a little slippery and a little slow when they first come out there, and lap times are in the 19-second bracket or so. They're still nearly 100 miles per hour for an average speed in those laps.
Yeah, they're getting right around here. 127. We've seen some high speeds out there, so it's fast, but yes, you're right. It's still, relatively speaking, slow.
Had a look at Spencer Baston preparing for an upcoming practice session in that number 5 CJB Motorsports entry. Ryan Roberts, Rico Abreu set to go. And the always enthusiastic fans that pack the grandstands here during the running of the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals, presented by Casey's, as the caution lights go out and we get set to wave the green flag on practice session number 2. Green flag displayed. The drivers in the second practice session underway. Takes a moment for the lap times to appear on screen here in the booth. Tyler Courtney, fastest so far in this group, 5th quickest overall to 16:3:27.
Ryan Giles, 2nd quick in this group, 6th fastest overall, 16:3:50.
Clint Garner, Danny Sams now into the 15s. James McFadden into the 15s. Brenham Crouch into the 15s. Tyler Courtney into the 15s as well, but Darren Pittman still the quickest. Then Crouch, McFadden, Martin, Sams, and Courtney.
Everybody close, but nobody quite as quick as Darren Pittman. Now, James McFadden faster, 15:5:73. Tyler Courtney, 2nd quick, 15:6:80. Brenham Crouch there in the 4th spot, but Darren Pittman right there at the end, shuffled down to the 3rd spot.
So James McFadden takes over the top spot in warm-up so far with a 15:5:73, 119.052 miles per hour for the average speed. Darren Pittman still 2nd quickest overall, Brenham Crouch 3rd, Jason Martin 4th, and Danny Sams rounding out the top 5. Group number 3 now rolling onto the speedway, led out by car number 88T, the Smith Titanium, Holovodka, Rod Gross Motorsports, Mesilla Valley Transportation, Factory Cane entry, Gerard of Minden, Nevada is Tanner Thorson.
From Warren, Minnesota, the Up North Plumbing and Heating, Johnson Family Farms, Self Wine Farms, Bennett Construction, Olson Underground, car number 27W, that's Weston Olson.
And from Eagle, Nebraska, the Forbes Motorsports, MySalesman.com, American Trailer Company, Cherney Enterprises, Drucke Trucking, number 95, Tyler Drucke.
From Altoona, Iowa, driving the DeBerg Concrete, Justice Brothers, CM Rock, Bosma Family Farms, Skadden Construction, car number 24, T-Mac, Terry McCarl.
And the 5-time World of Outlaws champion from Grass Valley, California, the Casey Kane Racing with Mike Curb, Napa Brumos Collection, Maxima Oil number 49, the Big Cat, Brad Sweet.
Austin McCarl in the Country Builders Construction, Ochoco West Muddy Outdoors, Tucker Trucking, car number 88 from Altoona, Iowa.
And car number 25, the Dirty Air Ike's Performance Christians Family Foundation, Donna's Pool and Patio, Haas Haulage entry driver out of Locust Grove, Oklahoma is Dason Pursley.
From Canton, Illinois, driving the NOS Energy Drink Logan Contractor Supply, TK Concrete, Maxim Trucking, Zip Bonds 55C, that's Chris Wyndham.
Green flag in the air for practice session number 3. Bill Rose on the speedway as well. Rose out of Plainfield, Indiana. That is the C&D Rigging, Microlight Feed Ingredients, Steve Beitler Yacht Charters, Mesilla Valley Transportation, Brewer Home Improvements entry. Brad Sweet, second quick, 15.605. Robbie Price in the number 6. Wow.
It happens, my friend, it happens. Austin McCarl, third quickest now, 15.665. Tanner Thorson, fourth quickest, 15.713. You're allowed one of those, my friend, you're allowed one of those. Terry McCarl, fifth, 15.763.
Hey, it says Bill Rose on the car.
So James McFadden still quickest here, 15.573. Brad Sweet, Austin McCarl, Tanner Thorson, and Terry McCarl.
Fourth practice session rolling onto the speedway. First driver to hit the racetrack, car number 24R. That is the Rico Abreu Kerbagajanian Racing Abbott family. Mesilla Valley Transportation Hunt family. Elite Signs entry for Rico Abreu.
From Lebanon, Indiana, the True Timber Camo, Nice Crete and Landis JRC Transportation High Performance Lubricants, car number 5 of Spencer Baston.
And from Lemoore, California, in car number 41, the all-buy-your alternative MVT Tarleton & Sons, Sage Family, Scott Boyd Family, Complete Parts and Equipment Solutions, entry of Carson Macedo.
From New Berlin, Illinois, the brand Professional Agriculture, Modern Paving and Scrap, FK Rod-Ends, S&J Gray Trucking, car number 3N, that's Jake Newman.
And from Aurora, Nebraska, the Mid-Nebraska Land Developers, M&R Manufacturing, 18 Express Moss Racing Engines, number 18, R. Ryan Roberts.
Bill Baylog in the car number 17B from Heartland, Wisconsin, the Anderson's Pure Maple Syrup, Indian Motorcycle, Metro Milwaukee Masters Remodel, ENC Cathouse Media in the car number 17B.
From Pleasantville, Iowa, the I-80 Concrete, Double Doe, Ankeny Home Service, Pro Diesel, Pearson Dirtworks, number 1D of Tasker Phillips. And from T, South Dakota, and the Pequot Tool Manufacturing, Hertz Precision Parts, Travis Electric, Epoxco 168 Manufacturing, number 5X, Justin Henderson. And from Gravois Mills, Missouri, the Ozark Barge and Dock Wet Steps, High Performance Lubricants, Hibbing Gravel, Kings Tile, number 3G, Ayrton Jeniton. Green flag waving on the fourth practice session. James McFadden still fastest overall. We'll see if that stands as the lap times begin to appear on our screen. Bill Baylog, third quickest overall at a 15.632.
Rico Abreu, eighth quickest, 15.827.
Carson Macedo to the fourth spot now at a 15.655. Checkered flag waving on practice session at number 4. Bill Baylog gives himself a birthday present as he celebrates his birthday here this evening as the fastest driver in the fourth practice session, time of 15.632 seconds, 118.603 miles per hour. James McFadden still quickest overall, Brad Sweet second, Bill Baylog third, Carson Macedo fourth, and Austin McCarl now in fifth. Group number 5 now rolling on to the speedway.
From Higginsville, Missouri, the Casey's, FEP, Andy's Frozen Custard, Ditsville Transfer, Impact Science, JD Welding, Houseby, Stamen Motorsports, car number 21, Blackjack, Brian Brown.
And from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Sitgard Engine Oil, Hampel Oil, Mystic Lubricants, Western Flyer Express, Deathridge Optical, 5T of Ryan Timms.
From Benton, Arkansas, the MPV Express, King Racing Products, Jim Schuchart, High Performance Lubricants, Phillips and Tosco Development, car number 7S. That's Landon Crawley.
And from San Jose, California, piloting the Acres Away Ag Dakota Alignment Elite Truck, Lundstrom Motorsports First National Bank number 3, Tim Kading.
From Neptune City, New Jersey, the Capital Renegade Custom Coaches and Trailers, Coors Banquet Beer, Henry's Wrecker Service, car number 91 of Kyle Reinhardt.
And from Quilcene, Washington, the Absolute Plumbing at Rentgen Earthworks, Quick Time Espresso, Vapor Trail Clothing, QTC Promotions, 22XJJ Hickle.
From Billings, Montana, the CNL Service, Velt Clothing, JJM Performance, car number 28, that's Joe Perry.
And car number 58. TNC Concepts, Onsen Underground, Focus Brothers Trucking, Andrews Products Entry, driver out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota is Caleb Johnson.
And from Newton, Iowa, driving the IndyCar at Iowa Speedway, Hy-Vee Events, car number 9H of Landon Hansen.
Brian Brown's 16th quickest overall, fastest so far in this session.
Landon Crawley second fast in this session, 23rd quickest overall.
Checkered and yellow flags simultaneously. Believe Landon Hansen off the pace coming down the front stretch, but Brian Brown fastest in that group with just 16th quickest overall to 16.002.
So Landon Hansen rolling to a stop in the middle of 1 and 2 in that Hy-Vee Events Iowa Speedway, car number 9H.
The World of Outlaws safety vehicle getting Hansen back to the pit area. Cars now rolling onto the speedway for the evening's final practice session. First to hit the racetrack out of Springfield, Illinois, the Rockstar Energy Drink Flamin' Hot. Ryan Auto, Hy-Vee Fast and Fresh, number 65 of Jordan Goldsberry.
From Arvada, Colorado, the 360 Civil, KNC Drywall, Berkey Motorsports, car number 27B, that's Jake Buback.
And from Sykeston, Missouri, the High Breeder Foundation Service, Marchant Cattle Company, Inland Rigging, number 19S of Hunter Schurenberg.
From Angola, Indiana, the Sundollar Restoration Ford Performance, Sage Fruit Race Routine Foundation, car number 26 of Zeb Wise.
And from Grand Forks, North Dakota, the Buffalo Wild Wings, Lundstrom Motorsports, Dahlstrom Motors, DeKalb C, GOB Trucking, number 13 JT Dynamite, Mark Dobmeyer.
From Hanover, Pennsylvania, the Dryden, Duramax, C&D Rigging, Federated Auto Parts, Shark Racing, car number 1S of Logan Schuchart.
And from Franklin, Indiana, the WCI, Petrie Excavating, KPM Capital Industries, number 27A of Emerson Axum.
From Sans Souci, New South Wales, Australia, the Protofab Engineering, Mystic Lubricants, Freight Alone Company, Stillwater Motors, car number 14T, that's Brooke Tatnall.
And from Sydney, New South Wales, Australia, in car number 53, the Supreme Poultry, Mama's Pizza, Scorpion Racewear entry, that is Jesse Adard. Final practice session of the evening, going green at the Knoxville Raceway. The fastest time in the fifth practice session was just 16th quickest overall. We'll see if anybody can improve on that in this green-white checkered final practice session. Jake Buback, 22nd quickest overall. Logan Schuchart into the top 10 at a 15.877. looks like that's the way they'll stay as the checkered flag waves. Fastest driver in group number 6, 10th quickest overall. 1S of Logan Schuchart at a 15.877. James McFadden fastest in warm-ups this evening, 15.573. Brad Sweet second, 15.605. Bill Baylog third at a 15.632. Carson Macedo fourth. Austin McCarl fifth. Then Tanner Thorson sixth. Terry McCarl seventh. Chris Wyndham eighth. Rico Abreu ninth. And Logan Schuchart in 10th. Downstairs to Connor Wade.
Well, guys, the last week has been a disaster, to say the least, for James McFadden. Let's start last Friday night at Peely, the night before the Ironman 55. Led the first 29 laps, lost it on the final corner to Kyle Larson in a photo finish. Believe it or not, that's the best part of this story. Saturday, they go out to make their qualifying run. Steering box breaks. Car doesn't turn going into the corner, hits the wall, and destroys the frame. The crew left Peely before the races into that night, drove to Indianapolis, Indiana, which on a map is the exact opposite direction of Knoxville, Iowa from Peely. Picked up another car. They got to Knoxville to run the Cappy on Sunday, and they ran it, but did not run the car that they got from Indy. They had another car here ready for them to run. They had a flat tire in the B-Main in the Capitani Classic and did not make the show. They did run the brand new car that they spent Sunday and Monday building at the Front Row Challenge at Oskaloosa on Monday night. McFadden got together with another car, got upside down, destroyed that frame. So they spent yesterday and the day after and the day before that building another brand new race car for James to run this week. So that team has gone through a lot of adversity. The crew chief Brent Ventura admitted they're tired, they're stressed out. It's been an exhausting week, but if they can put together a good prelim run tonight and get into the big show on Saturday, that adversity could turn into something they look back and smile on.
Thanks to Connor Wade. Now down to Wade Aunger.
Yeah, and it probably explains why James McFadden looked a little bit perplexed when I offered him the national flag for the Australian anthem. You know, guys, I just bumped into two of the giants of sprint car team ownership side of things in Richard Marshall and Kevin Radine standing there talking together, and I couldn't help but walk up and thank them both for what they're doing for our sport. Drivers are super cool and very important in our sport. So are promoters, so are fans. Without car owners, we would not have this incredible sport that we have. So I just wanted you to put your hands together for all the sprint car team owners in this industry that make it what it truly is, because without them, boy, fellas, we got nothing.
Yeah, for sure, Wade. It was nice to see Chad Clemens here this afternoon as well, the owner of the CJB number 5. So you're right. We need those car owners for sure.
Had an announcement over at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum today. Speaking of car owners, Todd Carlisle, 2C Racing, coming back full-time to the World of Outlaws in 2025 with Cole Macedo behind the wheel and his former driver Wayne Johnson as the crew chief.
That's a big announcement, I think, having those guys come on the road full-time with the World of Outlaws and giving Cole his first chance at a full-time NOS Energy Drink World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series ride.
So cool stuff announced earlier this afternoon. And again, Todd Carlisle, another one of those guys that provide an opportunity for young drivers to make their mark in the sport of sprint car racing. We get set now for Seafoam qualifying. We'll see 2 cars at a time on the speedway, 2 consecutive laps on the clock. Faster of those 2 laps scored as that driver's official qualifying time for the race program this evening. 200 qualifying points for tonight's fastest qualifier, down by 2 points per position thereafter. And with 54 cars registered for action this evening, the top 50 go to the heat races. 51st on back go to the back of tonight's C-Main. Qualifying order determined by random draw, and of course Kyle Larson drawing the lowest number available this evening, so he'll be in the first pairing of Seafoam qualifiers. Of the 50 drivers that make the heat races this evening, 40 will be inverted, 8 cars inverted in each of our 5 heat races. Believe a situation that requires some folks to cross the racetrack, and as soon as that has been taken care of, we'll get into Seafoam qualifying. And it looks like we are indeed ready to push race cars onto the speedway. First driver to make his way trackside this evening, your defending NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals, presented by Casey's Champion from Elk Grove, California, the Finley Farms, Falcons Brothers Trucking, Flow Racing, JVI Group, Works Limited, number 57 of Kyle Larson. And joining him from Adel, Iowa, the Dirt Draft, KRM and Tanzanite Homes, Carl Coons Agency, TNS Industries, Microlight Feed Ingredient, number 1K of Kelby Watt. Kyle Larson in the 57, Kelby Watt in the number 1K. 10 career wins here at Knoxville for Kyle Larson. Kelby Watt, a winner here in 2018 in 305 sprint car competition. Lap 1 for Larson, 15, 954.15, 954, 116.209 miles per hour. Kelby Watt, a 16, 268.16, 268. Larson's second lap time is a 16.276. First lap official at 15.954. Second lap time for Kelby Watt is better. It is a 16.084.16.084.
Rolling out next from Visalia, California, the Commercial Edge, BL Holdings, Elliott's Custom Trailers, Bargain Barn Tire, credit number 8, that's Corey Eliason. And from Brandon, South Dakota, the ACS Roofing, Zomer Trucking, Primetime Express, Red Rock Bar and Grill, credit number 3J of Dusty Zomer. Corey Eliason and Dusty Zomer on the racetrack now. Corey Eliason does have one win this season. It came on March 24th at Baps Motor Speedway, the RV 4-wheel drive 410 Sprint Series, where he picked up a win, currently 12th in the High Limit Series point standings. Dusty Zomer, a Knoxville competitor here on weekly competition. First lap time for Eliason, 16.089, 16089. First lap time for Zomer, second quick, 16.017. Dusty went to victory lane here on May 11th in 988 Lifeline 410 competition. Lap number 2 for Eliason is better. Third quickest, 16.024, 16024. And lap number 2 for Zomer, 16.151, 16151.
Next pair of Seafoam qualifiers on to the speedway. From Bellevue, Ohio, the Jeff Ward & Company, Primal Tee Shop, Elliott's Custom Trailers and Carts, Premier Planning Services, 33W Cap Henry. And from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, and the Dahmer Powertrain, Telstar, Fatheads Eyewear, Maximal Oil, Hobson Family, 21H, the Macho Man, Brady Bacon. Cap Henry in 33W, Brady Bacon in 21H. Cap Henry, a 5-time feature winner. 10th in 2013, his only Nationals Saturday night feature start. Opening lap time for Cap Henry, second quick, 15.996.15.996. Brady Bacon on lap number 1 is a 16.091.16.091. Bacon owns 4 career USAC wins here at Knoxville. Cap Henry, second lap, 16.022. First lap, second quick at 15.996. Brady Bacon, the second time by. Faster, fifth quick at a 16.067, 16067.
Rolling out next from Owasso, Oklahoma, the Jetco, Glenville Station, Carmen Trucking, Kreitz Oval Track Parts, credit number 69K. That's Darren Pittman. And also on the clock from Odessa, Missouri, in the Motorhaven, Schnee Lawson Chassis, TNT Performance Equine, Design Source Flooring, credit number 74 of Xavier Doney. Xavier Doney in the 74, Darren Pittman in the 69K. Darren finished 4th here on Sunday night at the Cappy. Xavier Doney has been to victory lane 3 times this season at Lakeside Speedway, Crawford County, and then again at Lakeside in Power Warden on sprint cars. First lap time for Darren Pittman is quick time, 15.594, 15594. First lap time for Xavier Doney, 16.284, 16284. Lap number 2 for Pittman, 15.695, his first lap better, and the quickest time of the night, 15.594.
Second lap for Doney, better as well, 16.222 as the next pair of Seafoam qualifiers rolls out. From Alice Springs, Northern Territory, Australia, the Toyota Racing Development, Mobile One, Roth Motorsports, Roth Enterprises, HR Livestock Transportation number 83, Senior James McFadden. And joining him from West Burlington, Iowa, the Land Pride, Morning Sun Farm, Implement, Fent Massey, Ferguson, Metalcraft 49J of Josh Schneiderman. James McFadden in 83 Senior, Josh Schneiderman in the 49J. 2023 60 Nationals champion James McFadden. Two-time feature winner this season. Best career Nationals finish, 7th in 2021. Lap 1 for J-Mac is 8th quick at a 16.092, 16092. First time by for Schneiderman, 16.348, 16348. McFadden lower on the speedway in 3 and 4 the second time around. It's a 16.131. His first lap was better at 16.092 seconds. Second lap for Schneiderman improves to a 16.270, 16270.
Pushing out next from Indianapolis, Indiana, the Edco General Contractors, Daystar Directional Drilling Collision Concepts, Horsepower Incorporated, car number 35 of Zach Hampton. And also on the racetrack now from Lubbock, Texas, the Carbon Safety Technologies High Plains Building Division, Wilson Wrecker Service, car number 1C of Brenham Crouch. Zach Hampton's best finish this season here at the Knoxville Raceway was a 6th back on June the 8th. He's currently 12th in the 988 Lifeline 410 Sprint Car Series point standings. Brenham Crouch, his best finish was a 2nd at Jacksonville on June the 14th. First lap time for Zach Hampton, 16.230, 16230. First lap time for Brenham Crouch, 9th quick, 16.173, 16173. Lap number 2 for Zach Hampton is better, 9th quickest, 16.103, 16103. And lap number 2 for Brenham Crouch also improves, 10th quickest, 16.167, 16167.
Two more Seafoam qualifiers rolling trackside. Out first from Indianapolis, Indiana, the NOS Energy Drink, Elliott's Custom Trailers and Carts, Spire Motorsports, 7BC of Sunshine, Tyler Courtney. And along with him from Liberal, Kansas, in the Vibey Electric, Trucks Plus, Mel Hamilton Racing at number 36, Jason Martin. Tyler Courtney in 7BC, Jason Martin in the 36. Courtney, a 9-time feature winner in 2024. 4 appearances here this year at the Knoxville Raceway. Best finish 4th on July 27th. Opening lap for Sunshine, 10th quick, 16.103, 16103. First time around for Jason Martin is a 16.546, 16546. Second lap for Tyler Courtney, 2nd quick at a 15.926, 15926. Second quickest for Tyler Courtney. And lap number 2 is better as well for Jason Martin. He goes 16.407, 16407.
Rolling out next from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, the Electric Construction, Parker Engines, Fluth Reynolds, car number 40, that's Clint Garner. And also rolling out to qualify from Apollo, Pennsylvania, the Mercedes Motorsports, Ducati of Pittsburgh, car number 42 of Cy Lynch. Cy Lynch in the 42. Clint Garner, one of our competitors in 360 competition here on a weekly basis, currently 2nd in the 360 standings, has not yet been to victory lane this season. Cy Lynch, 3 top 5s in competition. His best finish, a 3rd on March the 16th at Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Motor Speedway in 410 competition. First lap time for Clint Garner, 16.431, 16431. And lap number 1 for Cy Lynch, 11th quickest, 16.108, 16108. Lap number 2 for Clint Garner is better, moves him up to 14th quickest, 16.264, 16264. And lap number 2 for Cy Lynch is a 16.273. His first lap better, 16.108.
Next 2 Seafoam qualifiers from Northport, Florida. In the Global Link Impact Signs, Awnings, and Wraps, shopd3.com, dirtcrowd.com, number 24D, Danny Sams III. And joining him in Seafoam qualifying, from Grimes, Iowa, in the Chemours Phillips Floors Academy Roofing, Maxwell Aircraft Service Pro Diesel, number 2, M. Ryan Giles. Danny Sams in the 24D, Ryan Giles in the 2M. First lap time for Danny Sams III is a 16.456, 16456. Ryan Giles on his opening lap, 16.450, 16450. Sam's a 3-time feature winner this year. Second lap improves to a 16.298, 16298. And Giles with a problem up over the inside berm and rolling back toward the pit area. So his first lap time will be official at 16.450. 18 of 54 cars have taken Seafoam qualifying laps. Darren Pittman quickest so far at a 15.594. Tyler Courtney second at a 15.926. Kyle Larson third, 15.954. Cap Henry and Dusty Zomer your top 5.
Rolling on to the racetrack now to qualify from Eagle, Nebraska, the Forbes Motorsports, Oz Farms, MySalesman.com, car number 95. That's Tyler Drucke. And also on the clock now from Cobble Hill, British Columbia, Canada, the C&D Rigging, Microlight Feed Ingredients, Steve Beitler Yacht Charters, Mesilla Valley Transportation, Brewer Home Improvement, car number 6 of Robbie Price. Robbie Price in the 6. Tyler Drucke currently 7th in the Crestman Sanitation 410 Outlaw Sprints at the Houston Speedway. Lap 1 for him is a 17.017. And first lap time for Robbie Price is a 16.589. Robbie has 2 wins this season, one at Willamette in NARC competition and one at Skagit in a 360. Lap number 2 for Tyler Drucke is better, 16.998, 16998. And lap number 2 for Robbie Price improves to 18th quickest, 16.419, 16419.
Next pair out for Seafoam qualifying from Minden, Nevada, the Smith Titanium, Hall of Vodka, Rod Gross Motorsports, Mesilla Valley Transportation, Factor McCain 88T of Tanner Thorson. And from Grass Valley, California, the Casey Kane Racing with Mike Curb, Napa Brumos Collection Maximum Oil, number 49, the Big Cat, Brad Sweet. Tanner Thorson in 88T, Brad Sweet in the 49. Sweet, the 2018 Nationals champion, finished 6th in last year's finale. Thorson victorious in midget competition at the Port City Speedway this season. First lap time for Tanner Thorson, 17th quick, 16.398, 16398. Sweet 13th quickest at a 16.204, 16204. Tanner Thorson, a 16.353 on lap 2, 16353. Brad Sweet, second lap time up to 12th quick at a 16.145, 16145.
Father and son, or son and father, set to qualify next from Altoona, Iowa. The Country Builders Construction, Ochoco West, Muddy Outdoors, Tucker Trucking. Car number 88 is Austin McCarl. And also on the racetrack now from Altoona, the DeBurg Concrete, Justice Brothers, CM Rock, Bosma Family, Skadden Construction. Car number 24 of T-Mac, Terry McCarl. Austin McCarl is the current 988 Lifeline 410 point leader here in weekly competition at the Knoxville Raceway. He has 6 wins on the season, two of those here at Knoxville, one on July 13th, one on July 20th. First lap time for Austin, 16.183, and first lap time for Terry is a 16.667. Terry McCarl has 1 win this season as well. That came in USCS competition. Lap number 2 for Austin is better. 13th quickest, 16.150, 16150. And lap number 2 for T-Mac improves a 16.639, 16639.
2 more Seafoam qualifiers rolling out now from Canton, Illinois. The NOS Energy Drink, Logan Contractor Supply, TK Concrete, Maxim Trucking, Zip Bonds, 55C of Chris Wyndham. And along with him, from Warren, Minnesota, driving car number 27W, the Up North Plumbing and Heating, Johnson Family Farms, Sunkwine Farms, Bennett Construction, Olson Underground Entry, it's Weston Olson. Chris Wyndham in 55C, Weston Olson in the 27W. Wyndham, a second place finisher here in USAC competition in the past. 22nd quick on lap 1, 16.436, 16436. Weston Olson's opening lap at a 16.950, 16950. Second lap time for Wyndham better at a 16.386, 16386. Weston Olson, second lap 16.971, first lap quicker at 16.950.
Next to clock in from Locust Grove, Oklahoma. In the Dirty Air, Ike's Performance, Christensen Family Foundation, Donna's Pool and Patio, Haas Haulage, car number 25. It's Dyson Pursley. Dason Pursley in the 25, and also on the racetrack now from St. Helena, California, the Rico Abreu Curb Agajanian Racing, Abbott Family, Mesilla Valley Transportation, Hunt Family Elite Science, car number 24R of Rico Abreu. Pursley, a 9-time winner this season in various forms of competition. One of those comes at the Houston Speedway on May the 26th. His first lap time is a 16.574, 16574. First lap time for Rico Abreu is 14th quickest, 16.151. Rico currently 4th in high limit point standings, where he has 4 feature wins on the season with high limit. Lap number 2 for Pursley is a 16.593, 16593. And lap number 2 for Rico is better into the top 10, 16.098, 16098.
Next 2 to make their way out for Seafoam qualifying. From Lebanon, Indiana, the True Timber Camo, Nice Queen Atlantis Block, JRC Transportation, High Performance Lubricants number 5 of Spencer Baston. And from Lemoore, California, the all-by-your alternative MVT, Tarleton & Sons, Sage Family, Scott Boyd Family, Complete Parts and Equipment Solutions, number 41 of Carson Macedo. Spencer Baston in the 5, Carson Macedo in the number 41. Career best finish of 2nd here at Knoxville for Spencer Baston came in All-Star competition in 2021. Carson Macedo owns 4 career victories here, including the 360 Nationals in 2018. Baston lap 1, 16.303, 16303. Opening lap time for Carson Macedo, 16th quick, 16.201, 16201. Second time by for Baston, an improvement to a 16.254, 16254. That is 18th so far. And Macedo 8th quick on lap number 2 at a 16.072, 16072.
Rolling out next from Pleasantville, Iowa, the ID Concrete Double Doe, Ankeny Home Service, Pro Diesel, Pearson Dirtworks, car number 1D. That's Tasker Phillips. And from New Berlin, Illinois, the Brand Professional Agriculture, Modern Paving and Scrap, FK Rod Ends, S&J Gray Trucking, car number 3N. That's Jake Newman. Jake Newman in the 3N. Tasker has 3 wins this season, one of those here in 360 competition. He then got his first 410 win here on July the 27th. He also has a 360 win at the 34 Raceway on June 22nd. First lap time for him is a 16.530, 16530. First lap time for Newman is a 16.802, 16802. Jake also has been to victory lane once this season at the Sycamore Speedway on May 11th. Lap number 2 for Tasker is a 16.643, 16643, and lap number 2 for Newman is a 16.865, 16865.
From Gravois Mills, Missouri, the Ozark Barge and Dock, Wet Steps, High Performance Lubricants, Hibbing Gravel, Kings Tile, number 3G of Ayrton Jeniton. And from T, South Dakota, driving car number 5X, the Pequot Tool and Manufacturing, Hertz Precision Parts, Travis Electric, Apoxico 168 manufacturing entry of Justin Henderson. Ayrton Jeniton in the 3G, Justin Henderson in the 5X. Ayrton Jeniton, a 2-time winner this year with the POWRi Sprint cars, Lakeside and I-70. Justin Henderson, best finish this season, 2nd at Houston. He owns 13 career wins here at Knoxville. Jeniton, a 16.641, 16641 on the first time around. First lap time for Henderson, 18th quick at a 16.228, 16228. Second time for Ayrton Jeniton, better at a 16.601, 16601. Justin Henderson, second lap, a 16.275. First lap, slightly better at a 16.228.
From Heartland, Wisconsin, in the Anderson's Pure Maple Syrup, Indian Motorcycle, Metro Milwaukee, Masters Remodeling, ENC, Cat House Media, car number 17B, the North Pole Nightmare, Bill Baylog. And from Aurora, Nebraska, and the Mid-Nebraska Land Developers, M&R Manufacturing, 18 Express Moss Racing Engines, car number 18R. That's Ryan Roberts. Ryan Roberts in the 18R. Bill Baylog's best finish of the season has been a 2nd in NOS Energy Drink World of Outlaw competition. That came at Paducah International Raceway on April 19th. Bill currently finds himself 8th in the NOS Energy Drink World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series standings. His first lap time is 14th quickest, 16.114, 16114. First lap time for Ryan Roberts is a 16.799, 16799. Ryan's best finish of the season has been in 360 competition with USCS at the Carolina Speedway. Lap number 2 for Baylog, 16.171. His first lap better, 16.114. And lap number 2 for Ryan Roberts is a 16.961, 16961.
From Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and the Sitgard Engine Oil, Hample Oil, Mystic Lubricants, Western Flyer Express, Deathridge Optical, number 5T, it's Ryan Timms. And a World of Outlaws Rookie of the Year contender out of Benton, Arkansas, the MPV Express King Racing Products, Jim Schuchart, High Performance Lubricants, Phillips and Tosco Development, number 7S, Landon Crawley. Ryan Timms in the 5T, Landon Crawley in the number 7S. 5th in last year's 360 Nationals, the best finish in his career at Knoxville for Ryan Timms. Landon Crawley, 18th in the Microlight Last Chance Showdown here in June, the best of his 3 career starts at the Knoxville Raceway. Lap number 1 for Ryan Timms will be 29th quickest at a 16.499, 16499. Landon Crawley now 29th quick at a 16.498, 16498. So Crawley 1/1000th of a second quicker than Timms. Second time by for Ryan Timms, a 16.530. He'll stay with that 16.499 from lap number 1. Landon Crawley's second lap time is a 16.708, so his first lap will stand as well at a 16.498.
Next to clock in from Higginsville, Missouri, in the Casey's, FVP, Andy's Frozen Custard, Ditzville Transfer, Impact Science, JD Welding, Housby, Stamen Motorsports, credit number 21. It's Blackjack Brian Brown. And also on the track now from Billings, Montana, the C&L Service, Velt Clothing, JJM Performance, credit number 28 of Joe Perry. Brian Brown has 1 win this season. It came here on June the 29th in weekly competition. Joe Perry making his first 410 start of the season here tonight. He's done a lot of ASCS competition this season. He has 4 top 5s. His best was a 4th at Casper Speedway. First lap time for Blackjack, 4th quick, 15.966, 15966. First lap time for Joe Perry, 18.757. Lap number 2 for Brian Brown. Not quite as quick, 16.084. His first lap better, 15.966. Lap number 2 for Joe Perry, 18.892, 188.92.
Kyle Reinhardt will lead the next pair of Seafoam qualifiers onto the Speedway. Reinhardt out of Neptune City, New Jersey, the Capital Renegade Custom Coaches and Trailers, Coors Banquet Beer Easy Go, Henry's Wrecker Service, number 91. And joining him from San Jose, California, in the Acres Away Ag, Dakota Alignment Elite Truck, Lundstrom Motorsports, First National Bank, number 3, it's Tim Kading. Kyle Reinhardt in 91, Tim Kading in the number 3. 9th on Hard Knocks Night in 2021. The best of 21 career starts here for Kyle Reinhardt. Tim Kading owns 5 career Knoxville Raceway victories. First lap time for Kyle Reinhardt is a 16.716, 16716. TK on lap 1, 16.665, 16665. Kading, a 2-time winner this year, Huset's and Dakota Speedway in Huron, South Dakota. Second lap time for Reinhardt is a 16.797. First lap better at 16.716. Kading's second lap, 16.665. Identical laps for the number 3 of Tim Kading.
Next to qualify from Quilcene, Washington, the Absolute Plumbing, Rengen Earthworks, QuickTime Espresso, Vapor Trail, credit number 22X. That's J.J. Hickle. And also set to qualify from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, the TNC Concepts Odds and Underground, Fulkins Brothers Trucking, Andrews Products, credit number 58. That's Caleb Johnson. Caleb Johnson in the 58. J.J. Hickle has 1 top 5 finish this season. It came at Central Arizona Speedway. Caleb Johnson is the current 410-point leader at the Houston Speedway. He picked up a preliminary night win here in 360 Nationals competition. First lap time for J.J. Hickle is a 16.617, 16617. First lap time for Caleb is a 16.655, 16655. He also has a 360 win here. As I mentioned, the big one on 360 Nationals qualifying night. Lap 2 for J.J. Hickle, 16.875, 16875. And lap number 2 for Caleb Johnson is better, into the top 30, 16.489, 16489.
Next two out for Seafoam, qualifying from Angola, Indiana, the Sundollar Restoration Ford Performance Sage Fruit Race Redeemed Foundation, number 26 of Zeb Wise. And along with him, from Franklin, Indiana, the WCI Petrie Excavating KPM Capital Industries 27A of Emerson Axum. Zeb Wise in 26, Emerson Axum in 27A. Wise victorious at the Skagit Speedway in a preliminary Dirt Cup feature. Best finish of the year here, a 10th place run on July 27th. Emerson Axum, a 360 victory here on July 27th. Opening lap for Zeb Wise, 26th quick for the number 26, 16.384, 16384. Axum's opening lap time, 24th fastest, 16.272, 16272. Axum has victories at Lincoln Park Speedway in both a wing sprint car and a USAC midget. Second lap time for Wise, 16.469. First lap better at 16.384. Axum's second lap at a 16.329. First lap quicker for him at 16.272.
On the racetrack now from Sydney, New South Wales, driving the Supreme Poultry, Mama's Pizza, Scorpion Racewear. Car number 53 is Jesse Attard. And also on the clock now from Grand Forks, North Dakota, the Buffalo Wild Wings, Leinster Motorsports, Dahlstrom Motors, DeKalb Seed, GOB Trucking. Car number 13, JT Dynamite, Mark Dobmeyer. Mark Dobmeyer in the 13 JT. Mark Dobmeyer, an 8-time winner this season in competition. Jesse Attard has a win at Willamette, or excuse me, a third place at Willamette on June 15. First lap time for him, 17.233, 17233. First lap time for Dobmeyer, 16.492, 16492. Lap number 2 for Attard is better, 16.992, 16992. And Mark Dobmeyer's second lap, 16.643, 16643.
First out in the next pairing from Hanover, Pennsylvania, the Trident Duramax C&D Rigging, Federated Auto Parts, Shark Racing number 1S of Logan Schuchart. And from Arvada, Colorado, driving the 360 Civil KNC Drywall Burke Motorsports 27B, Jake Bubak. Logan Schuchart and the 1S, Jake Bubak in the 27B. 3 times of winner here at the Knoxville Raceway for Logan Schuchart. Jake Bubak, a 360 win here. Pardon me, a 4-time 360 winner, 3-time midget winner this year. 20th quick on lap 1 for Logan Schuchart, 16.222, 16222. Jake Bubak's first lap at a 16.652, 16652. Schuchart, second lap time, 16.593. First lap official at 16.222. And for Bubak, it's a 16.644, 16644.
From Sans Souci, New South Wales, Australia, the Protofab Engineering Mystic Lubricants Freight Alone Company, Stillwater Motors, car number 14T. That's Brooke Tatnall. And from Springfield, Illinois, the Rockstar Flamin' Hot Rhine Auto Hy-Vee Fast and Fresh, car number 65. That's Jordan Goldsberry. Brooke Tatnall, a competitor at the Houston Speedway. His best finish of the season has been 4 7th place finishes for him. Jordan Goldsberry, 5th in the bumper-to-bumper IRA 410 Sprint Series point standings. First lap time for Brooke is a 17.035, 17035. First lap time for Jordan is a 16.873, 16873. Lap number 2 for Brooke Tatnall is a 17.144, 17144. And lap number 2 for Jordan Goldsberry improves to a 16.819, 16819.
Final Seafoam qualifier rolling onto the speedway now. Out of Sikeston, Missouri, the High Breeder Foundation Service Marchand Cattle Company Inland Rigging, number 19S of Hunter Schurenberg. Hunter Schurenberg in the number 19S. Qualified for his first Knoxville Nationals feature last year, finished 24th. A 7th place run here on June 1st equaled his career best finish at the Knoxville Raceway, and the other one came in a non-wing race back in 2011. He is a 4-time feature winner in 2024. Opening lap for Hunter Schurenberg, 38th quick, 16.551, 16551. Second lap time, a little bit better at a 16.448, 16448. That wraps up Seafoam qualifying on night number 2 of the 2024 Knoxville Nationals Toyota qualifying night at the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals, presented by Casey's. Your Simpson Quick Time Award winner this evening in car number 69K, Darren Pittman. Pittman's lap time 16.594 seconds at 118.892 miles per hour. Tyler Courtney second quick at a 15.926. Kyle Larson third at a 15.954. Brian Brown fourth and Cap Henry fifth quickest. Dusty Zomer timed in sixth. Corey Eliason was seventh. Brady Bacon 8th, Carson Macedo 9th, and Kelby Watt completing the top 10.
And from a field of 54 drivers and 104 timed laps, how about the 2013 World of Outlaws champion Darren Pittman, who produced the quickest lap around the Knoxville Raceway in the Christ Racing 69, a career best Knoxville Nationals finish of third, earned back in 2019. The table is set to now improve upon those numbers, or at least they say through qualifying. Back in the Dirt Vision studio, I'm Dave Reef, and on behalf of everyone involved, I'd like to thank those of you watching tonight's coverage of the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals presented by Casey's. If you are already a yearly subscriber or have selected the Nationals as part of your entertainment dollar, again, we thank you and look forward to bringing you the rest of night 2 of the granddaddy of them all, beginning in just mere moments with the always intense qualifying heat races. But if you've just joined for the free preview, well, it's easy to feed the need that you have for speed. Just go the distance. Head to dirtvision.com and join the party as a yearly subscriber or night by night via pay-per-view. But if you'd like another test drive, well, we're always there for you. Just as it was yesterday and today, Friday night's Hard Knocks qualifying coverage is again available early in the night, free of charge, beginning with the Sage Fruit Stage Show. The guests you see on your screen will continue through our pre-race show and hot laps and then qualifying once again. All the action starting again for free on the platform, beginning at 6:15 p.m. Eastern Time. And while the Knoxville Nationals is the pinnacle of the World of Outlaws season, well, Dirt Vision is a platform with all forms of racing guaranteed to satisfy whatever you require. With exclusive coverage of 7 national series and 12 weekly racetracks, we're proud to bring you the greatest shows on dirt and would consider it an honor for you to join the family.
X, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. You can also watch more than 2,500 classic races and shows anytime at dirtvision.com or the Dirt Vision app.